Good, bad. I'm the guy with the mic.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hello, thank Cthulhu. It is Sunday, everyone. Welcome to our first ever episode of the Padded Cell. We are joined tonight by Raz and James and Jen right now, and I'm going to send it over to James real quick because he's in the hospital broadcasting.
Hi, everybody.
Howdy,
Yeah, I
howdy.
had a bit of a fall. So I'm in an ER and I'm going to get tested. I am in a lot of pain right now, but the muscle relaxer that I took is starting to kick in. So I'm just going to stay briefly, even though this is our first episode. Sorry.
Don't apologize, man.
No apology needed. We still love you, dude. Hi,
Hi,
I'm Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
I'm the crazy book dragon, and I love all things movies and books. Nice to see you.
Hey.
And over to Raz.
I'm apparently at the Stanley Hotel today. Because why not? Why not?
Will you play with us? Watch out for twins.
Yeah, I'm still getting my my studio all set up. I got a new setup here, so I may disappear or things may disappear, but yeah, it'll get
You
fixed.
know, it's odd because normally the blood gets off on the third floor.
Yeah. But today's a special day.
Right.
Let us know if you expect the title of Blood coming.
I'll let you know. We'll hear the elevator ding first. I promise. I almost wish I had that sound effect like in there. That'd be hilarious, but I don't.
Well, you suck. Next time you have to get the sound effect to go with the background.
I barely got this the new desk together and everything hooked back up. I'd have been on 20, 25 after and had everything all ready to go. But then I got the dreaded plugging everything back in and I'm getting the beeps on my computer because something's wrong with my memory. So I had to reseat the memory in my computer, rehook everything back up. And I popped up here with you like 2 minutes later after that. So it's been a down to the wire shit today.
I kind of had the same thing. I was trying to set up the Ethernet connection so I had a better, solid connection for my laptop to do this. And apparently the desk that it's on, what was it?
It's unstable because not all the screws are in it anymore. It's a 30-year-old desk.
It's a 30-year-old desk.
They've unscrewed themselves and some of them are broken.
That's information I could have used, and that's why I'm here now.
You never asked.
Well, fair enough.
You learned, listen to mom.
But yeah, maybe next time. Sorry, this has just been a wacky day altogether. So
one James, two desks.
James is a trooper. Hi, James.
Big hugs, dude.
That's one will travel.
So this is a love it or hate it episode.
Yeah.
We hate this for you. We love that you get the pain meds, but we hate the reason that you're on.
I've done a lot of first in broadcasting. I can be honest. This is the first time I've ever broadcasted with someone straight from a hospital room. I mean, yeah. And it's padded cells, so we're starting off, I kind of feel like, with the most interesting possible way.
Hey, I thought this was all planned out. I just thought we'd start things off with a bang, with a nice theme going on.
Bang.
I mean, if you're hanging for a while, just waiting, you could start off with the things that, if you want to do yours, if you have the time.
Okay, so sure.
Can I explain or do you want to explain what the whole thing is real quick?
Well, I can, or you can. Just, if you want to do rock, paper, scissors.
Just go for it. Okay. It was your idea, so.
Okay, so my idea was list the 5 movies that you actually loved while everybody else seemed to not love. So this is in no particular order. I'll start off. My first one is, I don't know, are we listing the top 5 altogether, or just going one at a time with each other?
I think
one at a time. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
My first pick is Hudson Hawk, because I saw that in the theater. I absolutely loved it. Nobody else seemed to do. I don't know
I love
why.
that.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was something that people hated. Like,
Oh,
here's my
yeah.
problem. Like, I don't pay a fucking attention to other human beings, so I don't know what people like or don't like. So like that was where my confusion was. Even it was hard to make this list, and I fucking
Yeah.
love Hudson Hawk. I still sing the songs. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's
I
swinging
mean, your
on the
fucking
sun.
heist to a song that was a brilliant. Even the video game
mean,
was fun.
All the guy wanted was a cappuccino. Nobody would let him. He had to feel for him. But yeah, it's like every other like video reviewing it or in top 5 worst lists. It's always on there. I don't know why.
That's not
That's.
deserved.
I was going to ask, as you have painkillers sitting in and potentially people coming into the room, do you want to do your 5 just to make sure you get a chance, or to try to get a
So I
chance?
thought we were gonna do like he'd do all his 5, and then we'd go to.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I thought you said
Here's-
rotating.
Oh no.
So,
Here's the funny part. My list is physically written down and is back at the house.
Okay, that's
okay.
That's okay.
So that was my first one that I knew that I had to talk about, but we can go on to the next person.
Okay.
Anybody? Bueller?
The Faculty. I was
Oh.
told by most of the kids in my class that it was a very bad movie, and I thought it was a cool concept.
Yeah.
Showdown. Sorry, I just watched that movie again recently. I fucking love it. The soundtrack, first of all, is straight out of the 90s. Like, Disturbing Behavior and Faculty came out around similar times to each other. Like, different concepts and like different plots, obviously. But their soundtracks together were some of the best film soundtracks of the 90s movie.
Now, what was it? Disturbing Behavior or The Faculty that had the Alice in Chains cover of Another Brick in the Wall Part 2?
I can't remember which
That
one.
exists.
One of the two of them. Oh yeah,
That exists.
it's
on the
gorgeous too.
soundtrack.
Okay.
Remember,
But you had Josh Hartnett in that, like a young Josh Hartnett.
Never watched that.
You know, he was still getting up and going in his career. You had Elijah Wood in that movie, and like that was a weird, like almost comical thing as serious as that movie. It was not supposed to be a comedy, but he had these moments where he just stole the whole show.
Yeah, we had a future Hobbit in there.
Yes,
I didn't watch that. I need to see that now, because
definitely recommend it.
Then I do, because and Alice in Chains. Speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Quick side note: has everybody here seen The Flash?
Yes.
Okay, Jenny, you've not. Raz, you've seen it, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jenny. This isn't. I don't think this counts as a spoiler.
I don't care if you give me spoilers. I chose food over movies this time.
Well,
choice.
and this isn't really a spoiler. People, I mean, it's kind of obvious what it's about, but there's this particular scene that really drove it home and started in my head. But since I have watched it, I have not gotten the NXS song Never Tear Us Apart out of my head. Because there's I was standing, you were there, two worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart. And I've just been like, that song is here forever now. Forever and ever and ever.
Lives rent free.
Dude.
So,
While looking at Nick Cage Superman finding a giant spider.
So faculty wise, not only did you have
spoilers,
what we were
he's
just
on drugs.
Not only did you have what we were just talking about, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, you also had The Kids Aren't All Right by The Offspring, Guys and Dolls.
That was stuck in my head yesterday.
Yeah, School's Out was in there. Actually performed by Soul Asylum though. So like a Sheryl Crow, Resuscitation, Haunting Me, Stabbing Westward, like I'm 18 by Creed, Medication by Garbage. Like this is one of those soundtracks. There's a lot more than that to it, but like it just goes on and on and on. Like
the movie was great, and I could just play the soundtrack over and over and not have a problem.
Yeah,
I have to check out the soundtrack.
I'm gonna have to too.
You know, the 90s had a lot of movies where the soundtrack was way cooler than the movie.
Spawn.
Like The Crow.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say this, but The Crow was great, but the soundtrack was better.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Spawn might be one of the the super hero films ever made as much as I love it, but it had probably the best soundtrack maybe ever in a movie. I'd go
Yeah.
as far as to
Great
say.
soundtrack. Last Action Hero was a big one.
That was a
soundtrack.
very hated movie that I adore, and I
Which-
watched
Yeah.
frequently.
Was that the Bruce Willis one with the football player?
No,
No.
that's
Beginning?
no.
That's
That's-
that's a
Arnold
Boy Scout.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it's an Arnold
Okay.
movie where there's a kid in a movie theater who gets this magic ticket and he rips it in half. And the new Jack Slater action movie is coming out, and he rips the ticket and it's magic and he gets sucked into the movie. And it's a comedy about action films. It's amazing.
Okay.
It was
Oh, yeah,
before its time, so like nobody went.
That's
Oh, yeah.
another yearly watch for me.
Gotcha.
And the cool thing, well, the thing that I thought was interesting was it had Stallone playing all the parts that Schwarzenegger would play, and he was gushing about how great Stallone was in the movie. It was great.
Because Arnold was in the film world, he just played a cop named Jack Slater. He was just a cop. There was a cartoon cat he had a partner with for a while. I mean, there was like this whole world. And again, it's very 90s. Like, what the fuck is this movie? I think a lot of 90s movies are going to probably be on our list.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the '90s was my favorite part of life.
Yeah.
One of mine, speaking of the 90s, I'm going to have to go with, and I just had a conversation with you guys about this the other day, Biodome with Stephen Baldwin
That
and
was
Pauly
great.
Shore.
Really?
Of all the Pauly Shore movies, and I love them all. Like, I'm a huge Pauly fan. I've got like some memorabilia of Pauly. I've met him a few times. Like, I love this dude. And for some reason, Biodome was the one that, again, as much as me and my brother loved all his movies, we clicked on Biodome. Like, we would do like scenes from Biodome, even in like our 20s or late 20s, still doing scenes from Biodome. So like this was a great comedy, again, funny, amusing, great actual 90s soundtrack, but it's considered to be one of his worst movies, and it is widely hated by many, many people.
I haven't watched that one either.
Him and
I'm-
Steve
I
Baldwin gets
recommend
the
it.
Biodome for like in the middle of the desert for like an environmental study. They accidentally sneak into it, and then the experiment starts. So now they have to live in the dome with all the scientists, and chaos and hilarity ensue.
Okay.
Mhm.
I could do that.
Oh, yeah.
My first movie is a 90s movie as well. It would be Death Machine,
Ooh.
starring Brad Dourif. It has Richard
Yes.
Brake in it as well. It was made in 1994. Not only did a lot of people hate it, but it was banned in at least 6 countries. I know for sure Sri Lanka, Iran, China, Malaysia, Iraq, and Australia.
Oh wow.
But that's a lot of banning, and they had to do so many recuts of it. It's insane. Like they've done at least 3 or 4 recuts. You want the full edition? I think only the German copy has the full 120 minutes, and then the next best one you can find is 115 minutes, and that one's not too different. It's more different in the beginning, which isn't really the exciting part, but it's Brad Dourif having the fucking time of his life, being Jack Dante, who is this evil mastermind, mad scientist working in a weapons factory. And like people come in, like some eco-terrorists try to come in and take it over. And oh my God, it's just so funny. There's a scene where they're stripping him down of all their weapons and locking, handcuffing him and stuff, or zip tying, whatever it is. And as they're it takes a full minute to get all the weapons off of Brad Dourif. He's wearing like this trench coat. He's got long hair and dreads and stuff, and he's all like those finger rings where they have like the points and stuff coming off of him. And they're pulling things off, and he has 9 handguns, 2 knives, a short saber, like ornate handle and a sheath and stuff, a set of nunchucks, a throwing star, and a rubber chicken. And they're just like pulling them out and dropping. They're just like, would you reach down in the pocket?
And I believe
And
at one point they say Hadouken before charging in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I gotta go now. It looks like they're here. So again, riveting. Maybe I'll finish my list later, but
Okay.
good to see you guys.
Man, be safe.
Well,
Let us
I
know
hope
what's going
everything's
on, man.
okay. Yeah. Keep it
Yeah,
safe.
I'll check back in later if I can. So, bye.
Either way, get taken care of. Bye.
Love you. Oh, that's sad. So, welcome to the
Yeah.
padded cell. James
Yeah.
is in the hospital,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Oh,
he made it for at least the first round.
he did.
and that rocks. And a
Hey,
lot
Pug
of
Dog.
people, hi, are paying homage to the rubber chicken part in many TikToks parodying that particular movie. One guy is using a rubber fish in its place.
The disarming of Jack Dante.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that just has me laughing. He's just running around the building, harassing people, terrorizing them, and just laughing maniacally, and it's so much fun. And Richard Brake, it's not his best performance. I'll just say that because I
Mm-hmm.
like the dude, but he's a little. It's a B movie. It is kind of. I'll admit that it's kind of bad, but
It's a little B, but it's fun.
super fun. Yeah.
It's super fun. I like that one. Speaking of rubber, one of my favorite films of all time that I know for a fact people hate because I'm told to my face often how much people hate this is it's called Rubber. It is a horror film about a tire named Robert that has psychic powers that can make your head explode, all of scanners. There's a lot going on in this movie. It's definitely a B horror art film. But the important part about this, and I'm actually going to talk about that a little more in a second, is the opening monologue. The opening monologue for this fucking movie is nuts, dude. I'm actually looking for it so I can like tell you guys what it was because it is that good. Oh, here we go. 1 second. Almost got that up right here. This will tell you everything you'll ever need to know about this movie. This is how it goes. It starts off with this a bunch of folding chairs set up, and a car just backs into them and knocks them all over, and it stops. And the trunk opens, and the guy gets out and starts the monologue. He says, "In the Steven Spielberg film E.T., why is the alien brown? No reason. In Love Story, why do the two characters fall madly in love with each other? No reason. And Oliver Stone's JFK, why is the president suddenly assassinated by some stranger? No reason. And the excellent Chainsaw Massacre by Toby Hooper, why didn't we ever see the characters go to the bathroom or wash their hands like people do in real life? Absolutely no reason. Worse, and The Pianist by Polanski. How come this guy has to hide and live like a bomb when he plays the piano as well? Once again, the answer is no reason. I could go on for hours with more examples. The list is endless. You probably never gave it a thought, but all great films, without exception, contain an important element, no reason. And you know why? Because life itself is filled with no reason. Why can't we see the air all around us? No reason. Why are we always thinking? No reason. Why do some people love sausages and other people hate sausages? No fucking reason. Come on. Don't waste your time explaining that garbage. Let's go. Just 1 minute. Let me finish. Ladies and gentlemen, the film you're about to see today is an homage to the no reason, the most powerful element of style. Why did they destroy all those chairs? No reason. And then he just kind of gives up and he walks away. Then you start seeing this story about a psychic tire. So there's no point in the movie. You know, right in the beginning, there's no point to this movie, but yet you watch it. Or, you know, I think a lot of people turned it off shortly after that, but not me because I'm a trooper and a psychic tire just, I don't know. It's my spirit animal now. Robert the Tire.
I've wanted to see that since it came out. It's one of those on my list that keeps getting bumped around because it'll be on somewhere and then it won't be. And then,
Every time I urge someone to watch it, they hate me afterwards. So I'm not going to urge you to watch it, but just know that I love it.
Oh, from what I've seen, I love it. I love the concept.
It's
And
too the terrible worthy. I'll admit that.
so is Death Machine. I think we should.
Oh, Rubber's way worse.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely shall have to check both out.
Speaking of Tomb of the Terrible, guys, we do have a new show on our lineup. We're going to be starting to broadcast on Fridays, and starting next Friday, and on alternating Friday, there will be a new show, The Tomb of the Terrible, where we watch horrible, horrible, horrible movies and review them because that way you don't have to.
Exactly.
But you can come and hear the misery that we went through just for you.
Yeah.
Because we love you that much.
And I think we're doing the Moose horror film on Friday.
Yes, Moose the movie, the Canadian. Well, no, the about a moose in Alaska. I think it was 2005 that it came out. Does that sound
Gangrene,
correct?
Alaska.
Yep.
Yeah, and it. Oh God, James and I had done this before on his Movies and Beer SoundCloud podcast, and ended up losing a bunch of files, so we lost it. But oh no, wait, we didn't do this one before. We were going to do this one
with me,
and
actually, because I
yes,
watched
and
it.
we
And
never
everything,
did.
yeah.
This was going to be the next one we were going to do on that podcast before he lost everything, and then everything went down for him, and things have just been busy.
Yep.
Okay.
That's to look forward to, and then the alternating Fridays, which was supposed to happen this past Friday, but technical difficulties, is me and Matt doing a show called Mats and Monsters about wrestling and all kinds of crazy shit. So we'll be doing that one at alternating Friday.
Yes. So if you love wrestling and cryptids and horror or really bad movies, start tuning in on Fridays with us. It shall be fun.
Most definitely.
Jenny, what is your second Lucky 11 movie?
House on Haunted Hill, but both versions. Because I love the remake they did when I was in high school, and I also love the original black and white version with, for some odd reason, his name just left my head, and I love this guy.
Price?
Richard Price, yes. Vincent. The original with him. Vincent Price. Sorry, Vincent Price. I've lost my mind.
Hero of mine, and I got to say, like, the remake does get a lot of shit, but I think people should shut their mouth because I think it's great. And plus, was that not? I'm trying to remember who that was that played that played Richard Price. I think it was Jeffrey Rush, but I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Rice. From my brain just lost its ever-loving mind. Everybody has loved him in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But that's where I first remember seeing him, from there.
Yeah, he was so good in that. And he was basically playing Vincent Price as a character too. That was the whole setup of the thing. And I loved it. And I had actually remembered him from other movies like Quills, where he was insane, wrote a book in a mental institution. Like it's a period thing, but it's a good movie. And also Mystery Men, the comedy action superhero movie where he plays Casanova Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
And you know that in the basement, when they go down and there's that skeletal person on a horse, that is part of the Body Worlds exhibit by Gunther von Hagen.
Yep.
And so that actually they didn't just borrow it, they got it. Or they didn't buy it, they borrowed it from them, but it was the actual exhibit. They didn't just like try to make a plastic replication of it. And a number of other things that were down there in the set, those were actual, those were dead people and dead animals and stuff that had donated their bodies to be turned into educational and artistic displays.
That is awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I think one of my most favorite parts was at the beginning of the movie in the elevator at the theme park, and everybody gets to see Spike the vampire lose his mind in fear, jumping up and down.
That elevator sequence in the beginning is so amazing. Like, it really, really is. I love that sequence.
We do have a Jeremy coming in just a moment.
Yay! We get the Jar Jar.
Jar Jar, Jeremy. He's got the groove. All right. No, I love both of those, but I know. See, my mom doesn't like horror, so I was trying to bounce my list off of her, and she's like, I wouldn't watch anything that you watch. I'm like, well, thanks. That's great. But
my family and the family I married into are great big horror fans. Even in the special note / review Martha gave for Raz's book, she talked about being a great big horror fan. So, yeah, we'll watch them with you, Belle, I promise.
I only have one horror film on this list, and that was Rubber. Like, I'll do another one on mine. Howard the Duck, the original 80s Howard the Duck. And this is one that I know, like, most people I even know absolutely hate. Everyone in my own family, just about everyone hates this movie. I don't know what it was about it. I love the duck. Everybody finds him creepy as shit. I thought Howard was brilliant. I was a kid when I saw, a pretty young kid when I saw this for the first time, and it immediately enamored me. It had an actor whose name I cannot remember right now. He's the main villain of the movie. He's also in
Oh, that guy.
He's in Stay Tuned with John Ritter, which is another one of my favorites. He's in Ravenous with Alan Rickman. This guy's in so many movies. Like he's a god of the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s. Like actually 70s, I think one far back as. I just don't remember his name, but I'll look it up in a second. But just the whole cast, the music, the look, the feel, it was a distinctly very 80s movie. You don't get a lot more 80s than Howard the Duck, in my opinion.
I love that movie. I loved everything about that movie. My maiden name is Howard, so after I started school, I became a duck.
Nice.
That is what even by the teachers, I got called Howard the Duck, and I just rolled with it.
Jeffrey Duncan Jones?
Nice. Sweet.
Is that right?
I never remember his name. I hadn't had a chance to look it up yet, but I just always can forget his name for some reason.
Oh. And Tom had it too. Yeah. I wikied it real quick. Thanks, Tom.
I love him as an actor, but I know he got into during the Me Too movement, he got into a lot of shit. A lot of stuff supposedly came out about him, and no one's really seen him since. But again, how I feel about that is if you did stupid shit, you got to pay at some point, and doesn't matter who you are or how much you've done or how much people like you, you still got to pay for stupid shit.
Some things are more than stupid shit. But yeah,
well, I'm just saying if you do,
yeah,
I classify as being a terrible human being as doing stupid shit. Like I didn't mean that. Probably sounded like I was downplaying it. So thank you for catching me on that. But what I mean is he did very terrible things because he was a fucking moron. I was just trying to be nicer about it, I guess, on air. But no, yeah, they were terrible things that he did.
I'm gonna put my waiting. I keep pulling up the wrong document first. My next one that I still don't understand why everybody hates it is The Last Airbender. M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. I loved the ninja scenes when I can't remember the Fire Prince's name, but when he was doing all of his stuff, I thought it was really well choreographed. I thought it was great cinematography. And, it was an M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie that you don't have to worry about some twist ending or anything for. It was like he made it because his kids were like, Dad, please make this movie. We love this show. And I thought it was great. And I do not know why everybody hates it so much.
It was lost on me because I'm a pretty damn big M. Night Shyamalan fan. The cartoon, I mean, yeah, sure, I was around. I kind of saw Nickelodeon a little bit still when that cartoon was getting popular. I just didn't really ever watch it, I guess. And I knew things about it. I had a lot of friends that were into it. It just wasn't, I never had the time to sit down and watch it. So when the movie came out, I watched it with my friends that had seen the show. So, they're all like, oh, well, this is bad because of this, trying to explain it all to me. And I'm just sitting there high as hell going, yep. I can say that movie looked really cool. It looked really fucking awesome. I can tell you that's what I remember about it.
I didn't watch enough of the cartoon, I guess. Like I watched some of them, but I hadn't watched the whole series. So maybe it was just,
if you base it on the series, he didn't do the best job. But if you base it on how well the movie was made and how the story went, it's a good movie. But as a fan of the cartoon, I can see where many, many people had many issues with it.
Okay.
I think it's
That's
one of those
fair.
things where you got to separate it and treat it like its own universe. Kind of a lot with Marvel and all the different iterations of hero stuff we had. If you look at it as its own thing in its own universe, it just shares the subject matter you're interested in. I think that's how people really need to think about that kind of stuff before they complain about it.
If you treat it like they have done with the Star Trek universe as an alternate world, it's really good.
Yeah, that's another option too, yeah.
And one of the things that Jar Jar says a lot is if there's a movie coming out and there's a book that goes with it or something like that, sometimes it's better, or a whole anime series, if you haven't already committed to having read the book or watched the thing, watch the movie first so that you can enjoy the movie without being, well, they left this out and this out and this out and they changed this part. And
the only caveat with that I have is unless it's a superhero film that was previously made by Sony or Fox, then you can go ahead and dislike it. You have my permission.
Yeah, they don't do so well with those. Yeah. Craven, the Hunter was released. The
Oh, I'll
intro
take
for
it back
the
as far
trailer for
as
that.
I think all the
Two, three. Yes.
I think all the Spider-Man movies were bad until Marvel got it, and then Spider-Man's my favorite. But Andrew Garfield was cool as Spider-Man. Toby was shit Spider-Man. He was a terrible choice. Great actor, terrible choice, and I stand by that. And I get yelled at about this a lot, but a couple casting jobs were pretty cool. But other than that,
I don't see the need for a Kraven the Hunter movie to begin with.
there's not.
It's just kind of crap, and then
Spider-Verse
having
Spider-Man.
well, and then having him be they're just monopolizing whatever they can now that they don't have Spider-Man anymore. Like as
No,
much
they still do.
the rights that
They can have their own Spider-Man. Here's the thing: they can actually do their own Spider-Man. But everything they've been doing is capitalizing on all the stuff they just don't want Marvel to use and have to make money on. So they're using Marvel to keep Spider-Man popular, but putting all these side characters out. And I love Venom. And I'm sorry, but basically what we have is a PG-13 comedy that stars Venom, and a really even worse one that stars Carnage, who is one of the greatest villains in my opinion of all time. Who, again, I love Woody Harrelson too, but man, Carnage was a big steaming pile of crap.
Yeah, I think Marvel is just heartbroken over not being able to do Kraven the Hunter, especially the version that we now have with him getting all of his. This is not a spoiler, guys. This is just the trailers, the only things out. But instead of all the herbal things and stuff that made Kraven the Hunter, he's no longer Russian. That kind of a big thing, and he's also gets his powers by having a drop of lion's blood fall into a wound because he was stupid enough to fight with a lion, or not shoot a lion properly, or something like
Charlie
that.
Sheen tiger blood, but with lion blood.
So yeah, that's what we got coming out from Sony right now.
Who pitched that? Who said we need a Kraven the Hunter movie? And everybody's like,
ooh.
No, thank you. We're gonna do it anyway, but they're pushing the Sinister Six so hard. Kraven's not in the Sinister Six, so I think they're just gonna shoehorn anyone they can get in any movie they can make and say, okay, this is the new Sinister Six, and then we're all gonna be like, I mean, that's what you're calling it.
Why don't you just make up new characters and do your own movies instead of trying to destroy people's childhoods more?
Let Marvel make Marvel movies, please. Just leave it to the professionals. We did get Incredible Hulk back, though. We got the rights back. Finally. No more shared rights with Universal.
Yay! But, yeah, so...
And we will get on tangents, guys. That's what Padded Cell is. Like, we have no agenda. We're just bullshitting and talking to you. We went as far as, hey, let's talk about some movies we loved that people hated, and that's it. The whole rest of the show is just whatever happens.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it.
People will come in, drop out, come back in. People will be in hospitals. People will, God knows what at this point in time, and we're going to roll with it and have fun.
Ratatosker is just drinking tonight. That's all he has to do. I would like to welcome, though, to the family. This was a present. He is our new mascot. This is Roscoe that I'm bringing out real quick.
Oh my God.
Roscoe, the rubber dog head, who I don't know what he's going to do, but he is a derp, as you can tell.
And there will probably be a 3-year-old that will keep popping in and out because, well, I'm mommy and I needed to be inside because the internet's working weirdly.
We're under a tornado watch or whatever, something here, but that's like normal. So I don't even care. So we got kids, possible tornadoes, hospitals. I mean, this is a Padded Cell.
Oh yeah, and the cool part is my kid's name is Dante. He is the Walker of the Rings of Hell.
Indeed.
Well, be glad he isn't Jack Dante, because that man, although he did get nominated for an award for Best Actor, it just wasn't like an Oscar level award. It's a very low award, but
still an award, dude.
Man, this desk is so fucking weird. It's like this giant L-shaped curve. I've got multiple monitors, lights, broadcasting stuff, but I also have a fucking cup holder built into this desk. And let's be honest, I bought this desk for the cup holder. I'm not gonna lie. It had a cup holder.
You didn't use the one that just pops out on your computer?
Oh yeah. There's just like all this room. Like I don't even have the second monitor running yet. There's just like shit everywhere, and I don't know where anything is because, like I said, I just put it together and set it up right before I hit the button to come online. So if you see me doing weird shit, it's just because I'm not even used to where the camera is right now. So.
Falling into the carpet because he's in a haunted hotel. So
yeah, I'm in the Stanley Hotel. You can tell by the background. So
that carpeting you can get on the game Wizard 101, by the way, to decorate your house with, and it's called Timberline. I know this. You can buy it from a vendor in Wizard City, I believe.
Nice. A lot of
that's cool information.
And I see that, and I travel with my mom occasionally to where we go to different places. Sometimes we go to like casinos because she gets super cheap trips. But I have seen that carpet in at least like 4 other hotels and or casinos before. So it's popular. And I'm always like, well, that's Timberline. And they're like, oh, really? That's not what our company called it. I'm like, well, that is what Wizard 101 called it. And I put it in my casino that was in that game. So to you. By the way, I just got banned from the Wizard 101 Discord channel because I have to get back into it. Discord has been making a lot of changes, by the way, guys. So we don't have any of our bots up because they keep changing things. So we just want to wait until they kind of settle so we can get all of our bots going. So if you want to join our Discord, you can join our Discord. We'll just be automatic. We'll just be not automatically. What's the word that I'm looking for? Manually. We will be manually this is my first class, I swear. We'll be manually giving you your roles and stuff like that. But I tried to invite Jojo.
I'm late.
There's the slacker. We moved the show back by an hour and he's still over half an hour late.
Oh, I'm having a horrible migraine day.
Oh.
We've all
had no good, very bad.
James actually was with us for a while in the emergency room.
Yeah, he broadcasted the opening of the show from the.
I almost went, so they could shoot me up with steroids. I love that. It really takes them away, but it eventually dissipated. So I get these really bad cluster headaches where it feels like somebody's taking my eye and just squeezing it, like so painful. Oh.
Next time you make a tincture, get also some feverfew to put in with it. It is amazing. It's amazing, like the combination of the two is amazing.
I don't actually use my tinctures and stuff so much as my girlfriend does. I'm more of the smoker, which I know isn't as good because it raises your blood pressure. And
yeah, but smoking.
Yeah.
But yeah, next time make a tincture, put some feverfew in there, give that a shot, man. Michelle, my wife, has a migraine disorder, and it makes a huge difference.
Normally I take my Imitrex, and that stuff kicks it right to crap. But
yeah,
today was not a good story.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you're starting to feel better, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, no problem. I figured I overslept and nobody woke me up.
Well, if you were in pain, there's, no reason
they normally won't. They've seen me in the corner on the bathroom floor in tears at times and like almost called the ambulance. I'm like, no, I've got this.
I found something magical today. And I know Jenny already has a name for this because we all collectively had a name for our owl. We just no one ever said it out loud until the other day in chat when we were all talking about it. I found this in a thrift store today. It looks exactly like the original owl I ever made a graphic out of. Right down to like the Lindsay looking things in the eyes. This exact owl was there. So I'm gonna paint it. We're gonna make it steampunk and give it like the lens with the red eyes and make it like the original thing. But yeah, we found this today for like $3-4 at a thrift store. And I about died when I saw what owl it actually was.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
It was so weird, man.
Okay, so we got your blue owl and then his blue walls that he thought were purple until the other day.
Yeah.
And
I made blue gummies today also with my headaches. Well,
blue.
yeah, everybody else knows what color they are.
See, that looks like a royal purple to me in the background, which looks like a blue.
Oh, to me, it's like carmine blue,
Okay.
but I don't know.
I once painted a whole room. It was actually called royal purple. That was the name on the label, and it looked exactly like that. Like exactly.
Yeah. So take that.
But
I'm
speaking
trying
of
to set up
blues,
my fan
I'm gonna
because
put that in my pipe and smoke it.
my
she's
goddamn AC can't be on during the show.
she's got the
Sure it can.
blue shirt on, and she's Friday in the blue box. And when we started Discord, this is the reason I'm banned from Wizard 101 Discord right now, or the Ravenwood Commons or whatever, because I was inviting people to our Discord, and on my friends list was someone whose name was Friday, and they had a blue logo, and so I thought it was her, and so I'm like,
I'm sorry, it wasn't me.
I know, and so I was like, because I was, what's everybody's Discord thing? And I was just like, oh, I don't even have to ask. She's Friday and she's blue. And I click, and then I'm like, they're like, oh, you sent an unsolicited invite, and she's a moderator. And so, like, she banned me. And then to friend people, you have, or to get unbanned, you have to friend a moderator. And she's the only one that I have on my friends list. And Discord just went and changed all of the naming things. So if you don't like people's names who've been posted up online, like for years, have all just changed. So
Yes.
I don't know anybody else who runs that community. I don't know what their new names are. So she's not accepting my friend's request because I unsolicitedly invited her. I'm trying to be like, I just tried to send her a note that was like, I'm so sorry. I explained the whole thing. It's like, this person blocked you. I'm just like, oh, shit. So, yeah.
Mine has a special picture made by Cassie of me in her game, so hopefully that helps.
Yeah, you got back to me, and then I was like, oh, that's what I did wrong. That's who it was. Now let's figure out. Oh, yep, she was the moderator that got me in. Okay, but it was just, I'm so used to. It looks exactly like you on Twitch. So, yeah. So Jeremy, we're too deep into the
Three,
movies
actually.
that. Oh, we're on number. Yeah.
Oh, what are we
the-
on?
Almost the full three.
The
movies
that
we
everybody
love.
hates. Hold
Yeah.
on, gotta find my paper. I have
Okay.
so many of these. Hold on. I know it's right around here. I got it, I think. No, I lied. It's another one.
You know, if you're looking to organize, you could always go onto our TeePublic site and get something like one of these notebooks.
Speaking of TeePublic,
They come in lined, and this is lined. You can't actually see it, and unlined. And this is from the Clutch. I made my own little logo just for people who want to dip into the Clutch for
found it.
ideas.
I
Definitely want
found
to get
it.
one.
My
Yay!
organization skills are not as bad as you think.
sweet.
I just need to throw out all the ones. See, these are comic backing boards, and that's what I use to write all my notes on.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just
Nice.
got to start throwing away the ones that I finish with and don't need anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are already 3 deep, huh?
So I think I might have been the only person that did the third one so far because it was
Yeah.
Howard the Duck. That was my third one. Do you want us to give you a quick rundown of where we're at, like what we already said?
Sure. What do you guys got?
For me, so far, it was Biodome, the
Okay.
original Howard the Duck, and I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a horror film called Rubber about a tire that kills people with its psychic powers.
No, but the other two I loved. Did you hear about the guy who actually wore the Howard the Duck suit, Chucky as well, and all that stuff? Ed Gale?
No, what's up?
Oh, dude, he came out as a child porn whatever
Oh my!
thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I just found out like yesterday or something. Kind of shocking, but like he's still out on the streets too, which is kind of like, well, what the fuck?
Bullshit. Yeah.
Wow. I just blew my damn mind, man.
Yeah.
Apparently, I just saw an article about it. Apparently, almost no one that knew him, including a bunch of his fans, were surprised by this at all and had really bad experiences, and we're all just waiting for him to get caught.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of crazy. I was like, holy shit.
Blew my mind.
Uh,
Hold Holy fuck! But yeah, that was the 3 that I had. I think the 2 of them had only done 2 yet. James did 1. I'm trying to remember what it was now.
We all you could be swinging on a star.
Oh
Hudson
yeah,
Hawk.
Hudson Hawk. Yeah, he did Hudson Hawk.
Yeah.
The Bruce Willis movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love that one.
I haven't seen that. I not all the way through. I don't think. I tried to watch it and was like, no, not for me.
Fair. While I was starting the thing, I'm just gonna keep going on. You get these Camp Owlite T-shirts, and mine on the back says counselor. You can also get camper if you want to be a camper.
I'm a happy camper.
We have like 13 designs up, I think, right now. You can get buttons.
Oh, look at
Wait, I'm
that.
switching the wrong one.
We got to
Buttons
brighten up
are
your set.
empty. I've got lights going on. We got the Camp Owlite stickers.
Oh, those are nice.
This is the old school Owlite podcast sticker.
The
OG. And then one of my pro. But there's a bunch of other stuff. I just couldn't afford to get all of
You already
the
got a
merch
lot
for
of
all
shit.
of the things. I do. It's nuts.
What were
And
your 2
this
Friday?
is our travel
Wow.
mug. It's
Let's
not
have a travel
thermal,
mug.
but it's a travel mug. So yeah.
Mine was both versions of House on Haunted Hill and The Faculty.
I like House on Haunted Hill. I don't know if I've seen both versions, but
There's a
what was
remake.
the
in
other
the
one?
90s.
The remake in the 90s and the original black and white one with Vincent Price.
All right, I have it. I have seen it, but it is been a long time.
And the remake was actually Jeffrey Rush playing Vincent Price.
And that had
Oh,
fancy
it's that
dancing.
with all the glass rooms, the glass house, right?
The Glass
Yeah.
House was 13 Ghosts.
Was
Correct.
13 Ghosts. Okay.
Correct. Also good.
with Tony
Matthew
Shalhoub,
Lillard, Tony
Wait.
Shalhoub. Yeah.
Mm. Oh yeah.
who is awesome.
And
My,
Delphine.
my 2 were Death Machine and The Last Airbender, because I just discovered it on.
Oh,
the
I
geeks
wanted
that
that movie to be
everybody
so
hates.
good.
Well, I
Apparently
was
it
just
wasn't.
saying, I followed your advice because I hadn't seen all the things. Hey, Carissa!
What you doing?
Carissa, what's going on?
Congratulations! Carissa got her Kickstarter fully funded already.
Yeah,
Go
congratulations.
for those stretch
Amazing.
goals, everybody.
Is that a
Up on
surprise
Facebook.
for Carissa though? Doesn't
No,
she funds
she's
them?
not.
She's a hardcore, like she's a marketer, I guess. you'd
First
call it.
time she got it done in 6 hours.
Yeah. My first time was like 2 minutes. No. Boom.
We're changing my
Oh,
title
oh.
there just for her.
Damn it.
Her hashtag.
All right. So I'll give 2 for right now. How about 1996's Godzilla? Matthew Broderick. Love it.
Yeah, I hated it. This is so far the only one that someone said where I just flat out fuck that movie. I'm a big
I hate Howard the Duck.
That movie hurt my soul, man.
I was craving anything Godzilla, and like, good lord, it was something.
Here you go. Chris is giving you some moral support there.
And then, let's see. Oh, I friggin' love Kevin Costner. So either one of these, I'll throw up the first one, Waterworld.
I knew you were gonna say Waterworld. I actually love that movie. I don't know
Oh,
why.
dude,
but
I
always
love
liked
Oh yeah.
Paper. Have you ever seen something so precious as paper? Fucking love that movie.
I thought it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nobody around me they'd be like, "What are you? I'm leaving."
Yeah.
Fine, we don't
I'm
want
telling
you
you.
here.
Kevin Costner in post-apocalyptic movies, I'm just like, yeah, I'm there.
Oh yeah.
I'm there for most any post-apocalyptic movie, though.
True.
All right. So, let's.
Everybody's
we're
got to
getting
do
in
a
a
third
weird
one
order
to catch
here.
up with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So. Oh, Carissa liked Waterworld. There you go.
It was a really good movie.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just heard it.
No,
was hated by
everybody-
No, a
fucking
bunch of
hated it.
people didn't like it, but that doesn't mean all of us have the same opinion as those crazy people.
No,
Wait,
everyone in the world has
stupid.
made fun of this movie. Like everyone has made fun of this movie. Like it's it's a pop culture like thing to make fun of it.
Stupid critics.
It's like a Nickelback kind of thing.
It's the
I'm-
Nickelback of like the
I'm
post-apocalyptic
fuzzy today.
world.
Yeah, you
And I
are.
don't know why people hate Nickelback, but yeah.
I like Nickelback.
Here's the problem.
love it.
Their first
I don't
time they
know
first
anything
came
about
out, I was a fan of Nickelback. Their first album, I actually loved the sound, everything. But as a band, you're supposed to grow. You're supposed to grow and change over time. And unfortunately,
They don't.
they just not only did they become the same, they kind of backtracked back into more of their indie career for the whole rest of their career. And other than, like their big radio hits, that's the only thing that sustained them for the whole rest of their career and still today. And they became kind of a joke because they went the opposite direction most musicians go in, which
Yeah.
it all sounded the same after a while. And I kind of lost interest. But their first album, I still like it. I'll still listen to songs on that one.
And
That's
with
the
regards,
one with what's the main song off of that album?
It's
Is
the
that-
down. I've been down to the bottom of every bottle song.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that was the real big one on that one. Yeah, and I still like that song. I'll listen to that one when it comes on. But their sound was very different in that album.
Chris is saying about Waterworld, it cost too much to make, so it flopped money wise. And I can see
Probably.
that, but
It was expensive as fuck.
I can
but still,
imagine
like,
the sets having to be built for that shit.
what it costs shouldn't be. I don't know.
They should have filmed it in Ohio. There's like a million giant man-made lakes everywhere, and they wouldn't have had to make any of that. Most of that shit would have just been there. And they could have saved so much.
Yeah. But there's always what they base the box office on. If it makes as much or more, it's not a flop. If it doesn't make as much or less, it's a flop.
Yeah, shouldn't change people's opinions though. But like we're seeing with The Flash, people are not even
People
going
are
to see
stupid.
it because of a lot of different reasons. And it's, I don't know. So the one where people are saying like that it doesn't matter because they're going to be retconning a lot of it. Okay, so just go watch it as a standalone
So
story.
it's
It's a good story.
Michael
That's
Keaton,
what I'm saying.
Batman. That's all that fucking mattered, and that made the whole movie worth it. I didn't care about the rest of the movie. It was great. It was a cool movie. Cool. I only cared to watch it because of Michael Keaton and Batman, and I got exactly what I wanted, and actually more than I expected to get out of it.
I think that's what's becoming the biggest problem with the comic movies is everybody's looking for, okay, what's this connect to the next thing? Like, why not have a standalone film where you go in, you watch, it ends, it's done.
You just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think Brandon was saying like, or was it Leo who said, treat it like an Elseworld, you know?
Yeah.
He was talking about
Absolutely.
changing comics that way, you know, like why can't somebody finally die in something?
For real.
That, you know, they
I
should
would
be
love
allowed
to
to.
see the mantle of Batman be passed on to Damian and like everybody grows up and Batman dies. Bruce Wayne's dead. That'd be great.
Yeah. You actually mentioned something when you guys were doing
I'm a morbid mother.
I think it was Splash Pages you guys were talking about it, where you were talking about how it would be easier for you to collect if there was like less episode and a more self-contained story.
Yeah.
Like I think the movies are getting out of hand. I'm agreeing with you. Like those should be a little bit more self-contained than they've been getting. And I enjoy the Marvel phases and stuff. I've been a Marvel guy. I enjoy them. But I also then feel like a moron because I know a lot about Marvel. And I still have to go and watch some of the videos to catch all the little things you missed because they pack so much in there. It's like,
and I'm starting to fight against that. I'm kind of like the guy that like, well, I don't like this character. Why do I have to go watch a movie about them? I'm like, God damn, like Black Widow. I've still not seen it. And it's nothing. It's just not my character. I'm just like,
I watched it as part of everything, but you know, it was cool. Movie was decent.
I also didn't watch the Hawkeye TV series. Like, it's just not my character. I hated Ant-Man. Hated. I like Paul Rudd. I do.
I love Paul Rudd.
I don't like him as Ant-Man. I'm like the first one and the second one had so many one-liners in it. It was just like, we get that feel moment in the first one where they're talking about Hope and the Wasp, and like I'm sitting there, I'm listening to it, and I'm kind of getting a little teary-eyed. I'm like, oh, motherfucker's gonna fuck this up with a joke right after it. And no sooner did they finish telling the story, it was like, bam. I'm like, oh, you bastards.
I feel like those are the family feel-good Marvel movies, the Ant-Man movies. And for what they are, they're decent. They're
Oh
amusing to
yeah.
watch, but they're not.
Oh, I'm not.
They don't match
Story
everything.
wise, acting, everything.
Yeah.
I think all these movies do really great.
They just don't match the tone. Ant-Man doesn't match the tone of all the
Mm.
other things at all. Like it's a very different tone. Like even
I
the
haven't even
comedies
watched
that
all the Spider-Mans because I'm not a huge Sony fan owning the things. The only reason I watch some of them is I got to find out how it connects to the bigger
No,
story.
I do love. I'm a big Spider-Man is my guy in Marvel. He's my number one, and I love Spider-Man. And I think again, the other Spider-Man series that we got from Sony were kind of garbage.
Mm.
And this is the first time that I can look up and say, this guy is fucking Spider-Man. Tom Holland, this is fucking Spider-Man.
I love Tobey
Young
Maguire though.
Great actor. He was okay for what he was, but the second they put him and Kirsten Dunst on the screen next to each other for a superhero movie, I was fucking done, dude.
I think I just like bad movies sometimes.
Yeah, they're bad movies. Like they had great villains, and they all had a Campbell, you know.
I have to say, what's his name there got screwed with his villains for when they
Andrew
did
Garfield?
Mace. Yeah,
Yeah,
because he was the
too.
perfect Peter Parker.
He was
like,
great.
Yeah,
He was a lot better than Toby all around. But like Tom, I think what we got right now is
I think age-wise they did good with Tom.
Yes, because they got him younger, so they could actually do his high school stuff. But now, after the way that last Spider-Man movie ended, and now we know he's living in the apartment by himself, like poor as shit, and no one knows who he is. Now, I think we're going to see the real Peter Parker. That's what I think these next 3 movies are going to be with him. Like the real, this is the Peter Parker, like the asshole, sarcastic son of a bitch that you've been fucking waiting your life for, who will team up with Deadpool and take over the world as the biggest fucking asshole loudmouths in the whole universe.
Agreed.
The thing that I was like, that totally screwed with me, and I haven't seen the latest Ant-Man because I've watched enough Quantum that I need a break from seizure-inducing things, and that happens with a lot of comic book movies.
Oh, yeah.
Surprise! They have lightning, and they have flashes, and they have things like that. But
wait, the Flash had flashes?
Yes, I wrote a list.
Spoiler
of,
alert.
It knows if you're epileptic, you'll just know when the lightning starts, cover your eyes. When they start going into speed thing, cover your eyes. If you see something blue, cover your eyes.
I feel like we're gonna get hate mail for like spoiling the Flash now. Like they know that the Flash now has Flash in it. Flash warning.
At this point, I'd rather have that type of advice with some of my friends than not.
Yeah.
You just don't cover your eyes for me. I promise I'm not going to give you a seizure.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that don't like Flash that would hate to know the Flash is in the Flash movie. Like, you know, that's...
They don't flash anybody, but you know.
Unfortunately, the movie would have made more.
Not those kind of flashes.
And slightly off subject, Spidey and His Amazing Friends is a good cartoon for a 3-year-old. Please
I was
continue.
watching it the other day. Actually.
That's a great cartoon for
It's
everybody.
a great cartoon for a 44-year-old.
Yes. I love that cartoon.
The very first episode I put on the other day just because I was bored and I was like, oh, Amazing Friends. Like, why not? And like Bobby Drake and yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
My one thing with the Ant-Man, and you guys are talking about how it is like a really family-friendly type of thing. Like, I'd never bothered to read the Ant-Man. I didn't care, you know? So that was my introduction to him. And then I joined Splash Pages and read a couple different entire universes in the Marvels, a couple different entire series in the Marvel universes, and went, wow, Hank Pym and Janet, that
was funny.
horrible relationship. And in the movies, he's just this nice old guy. Well, maybe a little persnickety or kind of grumpy, but other than that, he's just this nice guy. But he's only grumpy because his wife is missing, and it's like, well, now we know why. He doesn't have a punching bag out back. Okay.
Yeah. And also, they did Ultron without him, and they didn't have to. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why Marvel Cinematic Universe? Why?
Yeah, that was weird. The whole Ultron movie, like, weird.
Yeah, it would have been more powerful had they had the other characters first, you know. But whatever. That's like
Thank
doing
you.
Civil War without the X-Men.
Yeah,
you know?
Ultron should have been like a bigger bad than just one movie.
Yeah.
The only Ant-Man stuff I've actually read or like those level 4, 2, 3, whatever books, because his daughter's name is Cassie, and I have a Cassie, so we had to do those.
Don't let her read the real stuff. Don't.
Well, I'm not at this age. She's 10.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do the ones for her age level at the library, which is safe.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for everything, and it's college.
If you get and everybody out there, I love these. I got them for my nephew as he's a little one, but it's the 10-minute Marvel unit or five. Yeah,
5
it's a
minute,
5 or
yeah.
10.
Oh, I love that book.
They have the padded hardcovers, and those hold up amazingly well. The stories are really like they aren't talking down to your kid.
No, they're not.
And the
I
illustrations
even
are
got
great.
a really.
Oh yeah.
1 second.
Oh.
They're great
He's
for
gonna pull one up.
reread with like 6 different kids at different age levels. They have stood up well over the years.
I made it
Olympic
back.
chair racing.
Yay.
I got this whole superhero and villain DC thing where I can go through in every single villain superhero team from DC.
Ooh.
These are great for little kids if you ever find them, and great for the adults because they're all in there. Not one.
I don't know
missing.
who half of those are. I'm looking at someone being like, "Who's that guy?"
Oh, it's fantastic for me because, like, when I go up against somebody like Drew, and he's just like, "Yeah, do you know Starman?" Because he loves Starman. I'm just like, "No, I have no idea." But hold on, he was first named Ted, David, and Jack Knight, and okay, I do got this. Fuck you, Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else has the internet though.
Drew's videos have been cool. I've liked what I've seen so far now that I've learned he exists.
What the
yeah.
fuck is the internet?
I used to read his articles on Screen Rant all the time. I haven't seen any lately though.
He's put up a couple, and he has a couple more waiting. If
Oh,
you
has
look
he?
up anything Ghostbusters on Screen Rant, it will be written by Drew Mollo, and then you'll
Well,
see another like, check out this Ghostbusters article, and you click on it, and it's written by Drew Mollo. I went through like I think about 12 in a row.
I haven't had a
night.
chance to tell him this, but I realized that I've met Drew in person before.
Oh.
I was just, it was after the last show we did. I was looking at like that he was on. I was looking up some stuff, some of his pictures, and I saw some cons and stuff that he went to. Like he looked like kind of like years back where he was younger, and I'm like, holy fuck! And I got this huge like memory brain dump of like everything except for the con name. So I'm still trying to get that. But I'd also read a bunch of his stuff apparently on Screen Rant before, like before I ever met him. And I just didn't put any of it together until recently.
Yes, him and Brandon have this superpower with comics that I envy. I'm just like I don't retain, like I retain synopsises of like what I read. They retain like it's almost on like a savant level. Like, and I'm just like, God damn you people.
Photographic memory.
That's a good one.
I love when Brandon will do his thing where he starts. We're advertising right now for the Dorkening folks.
Oh yeah,
I'm Jeremy and I there, and
we'll
find
get back
Drew
to the main
on
topic
Splash
in a
Pages, and Brandon is one of the midweek geeks, and sometimes they would go back and forth as well. But they're both like saying comic savants, and Brandon is also with movies, and he will go into a thing where he suddenly starts, and you watch the tangent sprouting. And it'll be like, he was in this with so-and-so, who was also in this, who was married to this, that went to here, that lived in the house that Jack built, but he brings it all the way back.
Yeah.
Without missing a beat. And
I have to say Brandon is more
He's
like
just
straight up pop culture. He can even do musicals, all sorts of crap.
Yeah.
I'm actually secretly almost exactly like he is. I just never get the chance to like really go deep and pull it out. But anyone that used to watch me on Twisted Geekdom can tell you that was literally my job on that show.
Nice.
So cool.
My job is to almost remember something and then say the wrong word.
I'm here for comic relief.
And research and being the panels guy.
I'm here
I have no idea why I'm here.
About shit and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
All right. We should go
Like
back
I said before.
Oh, Delphine, what was your number 3?
Yeah.
My number 3, let me pull up my document. I pulled through it this time. Ender's Game. I really enjoyed Ender's Game.
See, I enjoyed the movie.
book.
Me too. I have never read the book, so I liked the movie.
I've read the book, but not watched the movie yet.
And I've read other things written by him, and I enjoy them.
I hear you should not watch the movie then, Raz. From people that have read the book, they fucking spit fire at that movie.
Yeah.
I'm generally pretty chill about that kind of stuff, though. Like, we were just talking about that right before you came in. Like,
Mm.
you got to look at something that it shares subject material that you're interested in, but see it as its own thing. And again, except for Sony and Fox superhero movies, like I mentioned earlier, I can do that pretty much with everything with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some things that, the brain just can't wrap itself around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of those slings lately, but not mentioning here.
That's fair. That's fair. We don't want to break the internet. That would be bad. We haven't done it yet.
So
Filming the padded room from I love that our first episode. I hate that it's because he got injured, but I love that our first episode started with James in the emergency room.
Yeah, that was
because he had like all the white background and the little beep beep things and stuff, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry for you, but this is hysterical that you actually decided. I just thought he wasn't going to call in, and all of a sudden he's like, well, I'm on painkillers now, so let's hang out for a little bit. And his mom was there. And she's like, I would have told you that the table broke. You just didn't ask. She's like, yeah, we're getting James's mom scolding them from across the hospital.
Oh, that's great. It's always fun.
It was pretty
Thanks,
fun.
Yeah.
Mom. Not in enough pain.
She talked with us for a little while they were getting him set up in the chair and stuff.
Yeah.
So, Jenny, what's your number 3?
I thought I did say my number 3.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. I'm lost. I'm going backwards.
It was.
That's okay, because, dude,
Wow, man.
Dude,
I told you, okay, I'm reeling from the amazing time I had having all 6 children at once, and then driving to give them back, and then driving to pick up stuff, and then taking a whole 8-hour trip and coming back, and then trying to mom. So therefore, my brain is dead. So I know I've done The Faculty, House on Haunted Hill, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember what the third one was. I know what the next one is on the list. I could have swore I said something. But if I didn't, let's go with Signs.
Oh, I love Signs.
That one.
Yeah, I fucking love that movie, dude. The first time I ever
Swing
saw
away.
I lived in the garage of my parents' house. We called it the cave. There was no windows. And it was like when Napster was still a thing.
Yep.
In LimeWire, and that's where people pirated their movies from. And I got a copy of Signs because I heard it was so cool, but I was poor. So I downloaded it and had this little I'm talking this monitor was like, it was a tiny little computer monitor, man. At best, maybe like a 14-inch monitor. So it was tiny. And
I'm all in green.
Dude, no, I mean it was a color monitor, which is a giant box. It was not giant, but like a box shitty monitor. And my
the old fold-out compact.
Right. I just kind of shoved my face like really close to it and just smoked like 20 cigarettes, like one after the other, and just watched this whole movie from beginning in complete darkness, other than this little screen and a garage with no windows. And that's how I saw that movie. And I think seeing it that way just made it somehow even fucking cooler than it really was. Because I watched it again years later and I still really enjoyed it, but it wasn't the same because of the environment that I was watching.
My mother agrees that it's a very hated movie.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Very, very hated.
I don't know that she hated it, but she was like, oh, if you want something that somebody hates, what did you think of Signs?
I mean, it was the whole one of the scary movies too.
But it had like Mad Max. It had the he's not called the king, but the king from Gladiator. And the aliens were weird, and it's when M. Night Shyamalan is starting to get big. It's like his second movie. Yeah. And he's literally the whole reason why The Preacher is still mostly gone as a human being. Because from my dad, I've learned you can't come back from that. No. You can't come back from watching your wife die. You can try to be the best dad you can be, but it's just not possible to get past it. So,
yeah. And the way it happened, like it was the car accident where the truck had hit her and pushed her into something, and her whole lower half was actually completely severed. And, like, everything, she was dead, but the pressure of the truck or whatever it was against her body was keeping her
holding it
alive.
together. Yeah,
Yeah, that. Oh, fuck, that was
that
so.
was a pretty fucking twisted scene.
Yeah, but the moment
Yeah.
later when you finally see the aliens for the first time, like really deep into the movie, where he's got like what is it, like a spoon, or he's got something reflective. He's like holding it like down underneath the bottom of the door, and he just sees the feet, and then one of the hands come down, and like that's it. And you're like I was just shy to sit in my chair, like what the fuck was that? That was amazing.
A really shitty
yeah.
non-alien movie, but supposed to be about space and all that. Julie Foster. Oh,
Contact.
Contact. Thank you.
Yeah, I love
Fuck
Contact.
that movie.
That's one of my mom's all-time. Did you see Contacts on? Do you want to come watch it with me?
I went to the theater to
not
watch
really.
that one, and I was so disappointed. I'm sitting there the whole time. I'm like, all right, we're gonna see fucking aliens.
I have weird ties to that movie because my ex-wife, her first husband, was part of like a main behind the scenes person on that movie, and I hated this movie like well before I met her. If I didn't even see this out, right? So like it was a big deal of like, oh yeah, my ex-husband did Contact, and I'm just like, wow, I should maybe not have married you because this is terrible news. You like a terrible movie. And then of course South Park, when there was the whole episode where Mr. Garrison gets his nose job, and and he wakes up and they mention Contact, and he just fucking pukes everywhere because he hears the name of the movie.
That's something that you love that my mom hates as well, and I kind of do too. South Park. Those.
Yeah,
I hung out with her for a while today, and she was just like, "Isn't that show just terrible?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What's it about?" I just know it's terrible.
Social issues.
Started talking to her about it. She's like, "Yeah, that is terrible. I'm never gonna watch it."
About anything that is going on in the world, South Park covers it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
An amazing way that you don't even realize they're covering it half the. Well, most people don't seem to realize it anyway. I'm just over here going, okay, I see what you did.
I don't care if they're being stupid to trick stupid people, or if they're being smart to trick stupid people. I just don't like the show either way. But that's just me, you know.
I
I
haven't
also
watched
hate
it
Nicolas
in
Cage.
years, but when I did watch it, I loved it. One of my favorite episodes was the Passion of the Christ one. It's fucking glorious.
My friend Lucky, who he's Jewish, 1 year for his birthday. Actually, no, it was for Hanukkah. I bought him the whole Passions of the Jew disc set that came with all those episodes.
Nice.
That was a birthday gift for me.
That shit was just too funny. I don't know. South Park, I think, has its place in history now. Though it's like The Simpsons and Family Guy and all those. They're cartoons that just won't die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to avoid one of the main reasons because we don't want to get into that on this show.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, yeah. So, Jeremy, what's your number 3?
My number 3? All right. How about, a great John Travolta flick from the 90s as well, Battlefield Earth.
I almost put that on mine. I came this close to putting that on mine because I loved it and didn't know people didn't like it. So everybody at the house was like, dude, that movie is fucking bullshit. And I'm like, what?
I was poor back in the 90s, so I had no idea about the internet. Like, I watched so many movies and like, oh yeah, that one is like,
it's like almost number 1 on every list on the internet, apparently.
Is it? Oh, wow.
It's like really fucking high up on every list I pulled up because they were trying to prove to me how bad it was. I'm like, no, this is a great movie. This is great. Look it up. I'm like, oh shit.
I mean, the only thing I can see is like, people, they were the aliens were kind of close to Klingons, but other than that, I thought the movie was great.
Yeah. People hated the story, they hated the acting, they hated that pretty much everything. It went over budget. Like,
I loved every second of it.
Same. Saw the drive-in when it came.
Yeah.
I've never been to a drive-in. The ones that have been near me have always been closed. Like, it closed a year before you moved here.
I live about 25 to 30 minutes maximum away from 2 different ones in different directions. And if I go a little bit farther, there's like a third and a fourth one.
I went to one. My last one was last year up in Maine, but there's none near me that are open. I'd have to at least drive an hour and a half to get to one.
Oh, that sucks.
But
Drive-ins are awesome.
Drive-ins an experience you should find someday.
Both vehicle and boat drive-ins. Boat drive-ins are a thing too.
I've never done that.
Oh, dude, seeing Jaws and a boat drive-in
fuck
is
that.
epic,
Fuck
dude.
you.
Oh,
That-
dude,
That was
Patsy
awesome.
would love that.
Saw that in Piranha 3D back to back.
Oh,
I've
the
seen Jaws
road.
and boat drive-in like a million times now, but like one time it was Jaws and Piranha back to back. We were just like,
I rode the ride down at Universal so many times, and it scared the shit out of me every single time. And the fire from that thing was so hot. Oh, that was the coolest ride at Universal. Now it's a Jurassic Park ride. I'm just like, dinosaurs. I like them, but
roar.
We're gonna have to tell Patsy about that though, because he's all about Jaws. He's like obsessed with it.
That's not been there in Florida. They took that out of the Florida park decades ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm upset actually because I missed it because that whole ride was King Kong, Jaws, and like an earthquake type thing. And like if you watch Double Dare as a kid, those are the scenes they showed on Double Dare rides. So when I married my ex-wife on our honeymoon, we went down there. Her family lived down there, so we got like the discount on Florida people buying the tickets, all this shit. And I got down there, and they had just closed the ride. We missed it we went in November, and they just closed it the previous summer, like for good.
That sucks. Yeah,
And
I got to go down there. One good thing my parents did was take me to Disney one time, and like got to go to Universal, and that ride was, though it scared the shit out of me, man. Going on, it was so cool. It was just an epic ride.
Oh yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
then
we
you
got
got
to do the Disney
animatronic.
thing. My parents were like, it's Disney or Universal. And I'm like, how do I choose? And everybody else wanted Disney, so.
I
Okay.
would have Universal. It's got the better rides.
Raz,
I don't know about now, but
say the name of the shark again.
Jaws?
Jeremy, say the name of the shark.
Jaws.
Jenny, say the name of the shark.
Jaws.
Okay.
Why?
Because you say jowls.
I do?
Yeah. Like you're talking jowls,
Jowls?
almost. You're jowls.
You should hear how I say crayon. Because I don't say it like
What
that.
is-
I call them crowns. Crayons are crowns for me.
Crayons of crowns.
That's what it's all about.
In that wrestling show, is it wrestling or wrestling?
It's wrestling. I don't say wrestling.
Good.
Lucha Libre.
When I was a wrestling cheerleader, we actually went to this place called it was something Creek, and they would call it
Crick.
Yeah, they would call it. They're like, welcome to. It was Battle Creek, and they're like, welcome here to the Battle Creek Wrestling Tournament, and we're gonna do this, and we're like, really? You're in Nebraska, dude. Like, you're
just because
okay.
you're
I always
Nebraska,
love that.
It was
you're
just
redneck.
like
I
it's
wish
like an
I called it a
isolated
crick.
community.
My,
I did notice today that my accent is off. Like depending on how tired I am or like what I've been like voicing or what I'm doing, I don't have a normal traditional like at home accent. It's just whatever's happening around me, and I'm less Canadian for some reason today, and I've been a little bit more Southern a couple different notable points throughout the day for some reason.
Yeah, your O's are a little solider today.
Yeah, I don't know why. No idea. No explanation.
Okay.
It itself. Fuck it.
I'm just putting you on the spot because it was fun. I just noticed.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that, man. Don't matter none to me.
we should have done the top 10 list, huh?
Oh, I've got a 5 with 2 mentions because I just couldn't crush it down completely. I guess. Are we on number 4?
Last one this.
We are
We're on
on number 4. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got a good one.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with the director Uwe Ball?
I have no idea.
I know the name, but I don't know why.
Okay, so for a long time, everybody hates Uwe Ball for the most part. He's not necessarily a fantastic human being, but that's not why so much people hate him. His claim to fame was video game movies. House of the Dead. He did that. There's like a list of stuff that Uwe Ball's done.
That's one of the favorite games at the arcade.
Yeah, right. He also does video games. He did the movie translation, the really bad movie that got made.
Oh.
Yeah, he does movie translations of video games, except for he does a video game series called Postal, which he also made a movie about. But that's a whole different thing. Like Uwe Ball's not a guy that people like as a director.
Okay.
There's a movie about Postal?
Yeah.
Postal, the comic book. With the
which was
mailman?
also a video game, yeah.
The mailman.
Yeah.
Who's autistic?
Yeah.
Murder?
Yeah.
Really?
bloody as shit. It was also a video game and a comic. That's all we
I
bought.
had no idea they made a video game and a comic, or a video game and a movie of that. I need to
Oh,
look that
yeah.
up. I love that comic
Oh,
book.
dude, yeah, please. If you like the comic book as much as I do, and it
Oh, I
sounds like you
do.
do, you'll
Yeah,
love it.
I have every issue. Like, I love that. I was so sad when they discontinued that.
Same.
And
So yeah,
Tom,
Go ahead.
Tom hates House of the Dead.
But like,
Worse,
No
it was a
tomfoolery.
bad movie. The
It
video game
was.
was fun.
But like, did you not feel like you were in the game when you were watching the movie? Right down to the reload. Like, I felt like he just
Reload.
way too literally translated the game was the problem. Right down to the death scenes where people would like go dark, like that whole thing. It was too much like.
Didn't
a
they
game.
even do the FPS kind of like
Yeah.
camera work where you're like going around the
Slow circle.
So that would
Yeah.
kill me, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
slow. I mean, it's slow, but
Oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't.
it's a slow pan around and they're dead.
Yeah,
But yeah, he just
Not
literally
much-
translated it.
I guess the gunfire causes some strobing, but
Yeah, there's some gun. Yeah, there's a lot of gunfire in that one. But like, it is a bad movie, but I loved it because it made me feel like I was like just watching the video game. It's because he did it like the game. But he did a movie called Rampage, and it's not based on the video game Rampage. That's something different. This is. Has anyone ever seen Kirk Douglas in a movie called Falling Down?
Yeah.
So if you were to take that and put it in modern times, it's this movie, Rampage. There's 3 of them actually. The first one though, in particular, is amazing. This kid, like late teens, early 20s, just had enough of life, and so he orders all this like body armor, but in pieces, and like parts for guns, all in pieces, to get around having to have licenses for anything or leaving paper trails.
Mhm.
He builds the body armor. He puts the gun together. He has all this shit, and he just goes around town, and he sees really fucked up things that he's been living with all his life that he's just fucking sick of, and he just goes on a rampage and he just starts blowing it all away. But then he gets hot and he takes a break in a bingo hall and sits there and has a sandwich and rests for a minute and like watches people play bingo, and he's like, okay, cool. At one point in time, he ducks into a salon and sits down in the chair. He's like, God damn, I'm tired. He takes off his gear a little bit, and of course they see the gun and freak out. But he was just looking for a place to sit down. But all of these movies are based on him going up against. They get crazier as they go on, where he goes up against the government. He goes to the White House and does all this. It gets really crazy in 2 and 3. So not so much
Versus
him.
vampires.
That'll probably be like part 4 or 5. But the first one was it was very similar to Falling Down, except for you didn't have the father who was losing his mind because his kids were no longer allowed to be with him and all this shit. Like, different setup, but it was still a guy was just tired of everything. Right down to in Falling Down, there was the scene where he goes to McDonald's and he wants breakfast, and he's off by like a minute, so they refuse to serve it to him, and he just fucking has a nervous breakdown about it. Like, there are moments just like that in Rampage. It's one of these visceral, super low budget indie movies, but when you watch it, like the whole point you take away, again, just with the first one alone, is very much like Falling Down, and it's a movie I love. But because it's gotten really far into the series where now it's just anti-government, pro-guns, like it's become more of a political thing, starting with movies 2 and on. People hate it now because it has gotten way. The series has gone all political and it's not as much fun now. But that first movie alone is still hated by a lot of people. But I really think that if people would just go back and sit down and watch it and forget all about politics, the first movie is gorgeous. It's well shot. The acting in it is fantastic. There's known people in the film. I mean, it's not like indie nobodies. It's like known actors in this movie. So this is an ooey ball movie. Again, ignore 2 and 3, but 1. Again, I get why it's hated, but I personally love that movie.
And apparently, he also did Dead or Alive, based on the fighting game of the same name, and Kevin Nash is in it.
Yep.
Now that fighting
So is
game,
that one good?
The fighting game was all about sex. I remember it was a lot of
Dead
tits
or
out.
Alive, what was it? Volleyball?
Yeah.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Oh yeah.
It's just a reason
Did you
for all the
score?
video game characters in bikinis and make them play volleyball so you can see their boobs shake around. That was the whole premise of the
Got a
movie. And they made
pancake.
a lot of money.
And
Yeah.
video games.
Yeah,
I think we have a few of them over there on the shelf.
Okay. So who's next on number 4?
You are.
I am? Okay.
Might as well go
Mine-
counterclockwise, right?
Why not? Widdershins it is. My number 4 is 31, the Rob Zombie movie. And
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I ain't no fucking clown.
it be on the reason everybody hated it is because it was another Rob Zombie movie with the Rob Zombie cast that was kind of gritty, took place in the 70s. Everybody's kind of a redneck, and his
I've
wife
seen
is the
this
lead
one. Hold on.
wife. Yes.
Sounds like a corpse or House of a Thousand Corpses.
If you were to mix House of a Thousand Corpses with Schwarzenegger's Running
Devil's
Man,
Rejects.
It,
Interesting.
yeah,
it's
this
basically
one
Running
is-
Man. It's Schwarzenegger, Stephen King's Running Man, but a horror movie. That's what it is. And
Oh,
it's,
is there a
Yeah.
game in it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
these carnies.
So I'm not the only one that thought so.
These carnies get sucked into a game that Malcolm McDowell and some other really weird rich people, like they wear wigs and get all dressed up, go into this huge warehouse thing. And then they knock them all out, place them with various, not really weapons, but things like a pipe or something around them. And they have to survive 31 hours. And they have the odds. They're changing things, and the rich people are betting as they watch them, and they start calculating out as they're grouping together and trying to fight stuff. But they have basically clowns, but they're like
It's
killer
more than
clowns.
it's everything.
They
All
have
kinds of different
groups of
serial
people and
killers.
stuff. And those people are up trying to kill them. And so they'll be like, this person has a rating of this % chance to live. And then they change that based on different things as they go through it. And Richard Brake is amazing. He plays the main villain. His name is Doomhead, and he starts it and he ends it.
Yep, he's half the
And-
inspiration for my Haunt character. Actually, like his whole attitude in that movie is
Oh,
like,
he is the best. I adore him. Let me see if I can. But
it
there's
is one of his,
also
aside from Halloween, it's his most hated movie. Actually,
Good for him.
yeah.
I also
Raz-
didn't watch his Halloween movie. I'm not
Don't.
big into the Halloweens after.
just don't pretend they don't exist like I do.
Oh, wow, that was weird.
There is no Rob Zombie Halloween.
Yeah, after Halloween, like 3 or 4, I forget. Minus the one where it's not Halloween.
Still Halloween.
It's still Halloween, but
Yeah, this is his character, like a drawing of it.
So he breaks his nose when he's getting his makeup on to have the blood come down, his own blood come down to finish his makeup. The whole scene where he does it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, he's just like beating himself. But there's also this.
There's videos out there of me doing the monologue.
There is a little person who is dressed like Hitler that speaks in Spanish.
Mhm.
And he's chasing them around, terrorizing them, shouting out things in Spanish, and just mocking them as a Nazi little person.
that's
And
funny.
he also is terrifying, I think. Like
Uh-huh.
out of
Yeah.
out of all of the different, because they meet like some twins, they meet a like couple that are, well, they don't meet, they're trying to
Yeah.
be executed
It's
by
not a meet
their-
and greet.
yeah, it's like they're trying to kill or be killed by these different characters, but that one is the other one that's just like, oh shit, because he is hardcore. And yeah, but once again, it is
And it's not
just
televised.
a new setting for every Rob Zombie movie ever made. But the way Richard Brake performed in it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
His opening and his ending made the movie better for me than a lot of the other ones. The middle was okay.
I actually think it was Sherry Moon Zombie's best. Of all the Rob Zombie movies, I honestly thought she was better in that one than she was the other ones. Like a lot better. And I don't mind her acting at all. I don't think it's terrible. I think she plays her characters exactly what they're meant to be. Honestly.
Yeah, she didn't do a whole lot of the really insane because she was the victim in this one instead of being the like tormentor.
Yeah, I thought
So-
that shone through that she did a great job, like being a badass, but she was the victim, obviously. Like I thought she did a good job at it. It was I love it. It's my favorite of his movies.
So Jenny, you're number 4.
Going next.
It surprised me that so many people did not like The Adventures of Pluto Nash, and I just love that movie.
People don't like that?
Yeah, people don't like that. I found out from my friend the entire reason he didn't watch it was it got so many bad reviews, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? You have a funny robot, and one of the coolest people in the entire movie that ended up saving the day is now playing Gomez Adams in the new Wednesday show. It's like, seriously.
I
Okay,
had never heard of it.
people
So
apparently think it's extremely boring and it costs too much money to make. The acting was bad and the plot was stupid. And I disagree with all those things because I also loved that movie. I've seen
I
it more than
disagree. I love. The only thing I really had a problem with was dancing. I thought the dancing was not my favorite way to dance, but
yeah, it was an odd scene. It was a very odd scene.
well, yeah. But the bar own his bar was great. I enjoyed the plot. It was a great movie.
Eddie Murphy was great in that. He really was.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Murphy, I've never heard of it.
Oh,
So
dude, it is
Okay.
good. There's a lot of very like well-known people, like famous people in this, and again, suspend disbelief and just enjoy the movie.
okay.
Yeah.
Being stoned,
Ignore.
if I'm being honest, I've never seen it sober, so
I have, but I don't get to get high often, so yeah.
I'll just sit here and drink my wine.
Drink
Unfortunately, all I have is water.
I have 3
really
beverages.
bad coffee though.
I'm sorry.
It's
I don't-
okay. Sometimes you gotta take one for the team.
Well, and caffeine's good if you'd had the headache going on. That
Mm.
usually helps get rid of. For me, anyway. I don't know about you, but
Well, here's hoping.
Good luck. Cthulhu bless.
may our Lord Cthulhu bless you and
What
keep
we have
you.
on the 4.
Just not your soul.
Oh, we're on Jeremy for number 4 now.
Oh,
That's
number
fair.
4. I was gonna go with the Highlander sequels, but you guys made me think of the Cube and their sequels. I love the Cube one, and I love all the sequels because finally, I think it was at part 5, they wrapped around back to the beginning of the Cube, where the guy's like, "I want to go back to the blue room, go back to the blue room," and finally you meet the guy that like goes through and all that.
There's only 3 Cube movies.
No, I think there's 5.
There's
Are you
Cube.
sure there's only 3?
There's Cube 1, Cube 2 Hypercube, and then they did a prequel called Cube 0. That's it. But
All right.
they are talking about either part 4 soon or a complete remake.
I
Well,
did
then
love
it must have
those
been
movies.
part 3 that wrapped around to 1, where it was they
Yes.
went back to the blue room.
The ending of 0 was kind of led you to believe it was going to go into 1 again. Yeah,
Yes, and I liked it. I
loved
liked it
those.
all.
I-
I thought the killings, the if I was trapped in a horror movie, that would be the one kind I would like to be trapped in, because the puzzles and stuff, and like not Saw, mind you, because I don't want my head like being ripped apart
Yeah.
with 30 seconds. I ain't got that kind of skills.
Right.
But if I got a little bit of time to fuck around in a room, we're okay.
Yeah. No, those movies are brilliant, dude. That's actually
Mhm.
probably my favorite horror sci-fi series, just about of all time. Like,
Oh, it's really cool
it's
stuff.
thinker. There's also plenty of visual stuff. The writing and the plot line, they were pretty solid all the way throughout the movies. Like, those are fucking great. I didn't know people didn't like those.
Oh, I've met so many
Yeah.
people that are like, one was okay, but really? I'm like, no, I thought they were great. Like, the
But they're on
idea
Saw
behind it,
16.
yeah, right.
No, we've already ended Saw, but we didn't end it apparently because now they're going to make another one. Actually,
Yeah.
it's already done being made technically. I think
There's more after Jigsaw.
couple, yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you though, Jeremy. I fucking love those movies. They were
Mm.
brilliant. I like the puzzle solving types of stuff though. That's
If-
in video games too.
Exactly.
No,
Like, it brought me back to like original Resident Evil, where you're like having to solve all the puzzles and
Yes.
stuff. Much
Silent
better.
Hill.
The
Yeah,
Seventh
yeah,
Guest.
Silent Hill. There you go.
Seventh Guest. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good PC one. That and Phantasmagoria.
What was the other platform that the Seventh Guest was released on? It was a really weird one that didn't last for long. But the only reason I know about it is because one of my friends had it.
Was it Neo
And-
Geo? Maybe.
I don't know. He put a big disc in for it, and he and his dad had gotten stuck on the Bishop chess set puzzle
Yeah.
because they didn't know how to play chess. And you move your bishops diagonally, and you have to make sure that you have to take one row of bishops on each side of the board and get both of them to the other side. and they'd been having a lot of problems with it. And so I sat down and I was just like, oh, well, you know, I'm not a super whiz, but I had played chess and I'm really good at math. So I was able to get through that puzzle for them. But that was,
I
and
truly enjoy your brain.
Apparently, it was released on CD-ROMs primarily. For a long time, that's all it was. But they did do the bigger discs later with the CDIs.
Wow.
yeah, they had one of those, and it was like I'd never seen the gaming system before or after.
Yep.
He was the only person who owned it. But
Short-lived.
D is another one of those horror movies where you have to go through, or horror games, but it's all puzzle games.
Yeah.
The
I
thing with
remember
that
the anime
though,
D.
you can't pause
Can't
in
pass.
this game. You have 1 hour to get through the entire goddamn game. And so, and there are cutscenes too, where it'll like you solve something and it cuts to a movie scene, so you see what happened.
Oh, was that on
beforehand.
Sega CD? That
I
sounds
think
familiar.
so. You're the daughter, and your father's locked in this house, and like murders have taken place, and you come in because you're. I don't know if the cops call you in or what, but you have to go in and try to solve what's happened. And there's like some things that are pretty easy. You go in and there's like a table that was set with a bunch of different place settings, and everything's empty, and you have to determine what happened here. And then you go and there's a set of drawers, and you have to figure out a puzzle to open the correct drawer to get a key to get into the next room. There's one where you have to do something with like, I can't remember it all now, but it's colors, constellations, and planets with a telescope and stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just, it's really in depth. And then
Mist is another one.
Oh, Mist was so cool.
there were a couple of spin-offs of that one though, but they were also like only you couldn't pause.
I actually finally just beat Mist, I think last year or something, because it was on Game Pass. They had it on Game Pass for a while, and I played it through, and I was just like, oh, this is so much easier than I remember it being.
Did you know that there was actually a comedy spoof version of that game put out a couple years after it originally came out with John Goodman?
No.
It's called Pissed. I'm dead serious about it. It's just called Pissed. But it's like
PYST?
Yeah, it's Pissed with John Goodman. It's hilarious. That was back when it was really popular for big stars to do the CD-ROM games. I remember Tim Curry played Dr. Frankenstein for a Frankenstein CD-ROM game at one point. Like, it was just a big deal to get all these stars to do CD-ROM games, and there was a big market for it back then.
Speaking of big stars doing things, guess what?
What?
Hey, Samuel. Oh, they took him off of the Alexa app.
Are you
I
serious?
paid for that.
Skill is no longer available. For more help,
Samuel is no longer available.
Alexa?
Yep. Yes, they did.
Samuel is busy.
I paid $1.50 to have that man swear at me as much as possible, and they took him away.
Amazon needs to give you that $1.50 back, man.
Right?
Where's my fucking $1.50, motherfucker?
These are tough times, man.
Have you sent them an email?
Get that motherfucking $1.50 back in my motherfucking bank account.
Yes.
When
have you had him read "Go the fuck to sleep" to you?
Yeah.
When Pulp Fiction came out, my friends, I don't know if they coined the term or if somebody else had, but they introduced me to the term a motherfucking sandwich. Because
that's a motherfucking good sandwich.
No, it's a motherfucking badass motherfucker. You got to have a motherfucker on each side of something.
What's a $5 milkshake taste like? I love that movie. I watched it recently. Oh.
I hate everything that you guys like, though, so I'm just a hater.
Tarantino films are fantastic to me.
I wanted to point out something. We were talking about like the old puzzle games and stuff, which we were talking about being big fans of. There was actually a movie that just came out last year. It's a found footage movie. It takes place in the 90s. It's called Deadware. It's about these two people that get together over like, I'm talking like old school voice chat, like the original like AIM instant messenger windows, and like when they first started doing like video chat with AIM, and they get on AIM together. And so like there's all the 90s sounds, like, you know, like how everybody is dressed, the lighting, everything is 90s. And they get sucked into playing this puzzle game together online. Like one person's controlling it while they're both like seeing everything and screen sharing. And it's a really weird but really good found footage movie. But we were talking about the puzzle games, and it just totally reminded me of that.
That is cool.
I was pouring my wine, and I was just totally reminded of the fact that I'm drinking 19 Crimes. And if
It looks
this is
like a Ghostbuster on the cover.
Yeah, I thought
well,
it was.
the thing is, okay, this is the life sentence Shiraz.
Okay.
But the thing about 19 Crimes, if you don't know, first of all, Snoop Dogg owns it now. And
wow.
second of all, you can get a phone app and they're AR labels. And you open up the phone, you put the video from the app on the label, and the people that are on the labels are actual criminals that have done things over time, and they have like way back ones, and they'll sit there and narrate to you, and their mouths are moving and everything, and they tell you the story of what crime they committed and what their sentencing was and all that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those.
Drink one. I kind of want those. Like I just want the video.
I mean, okay, they sell them at Trader Joe's, so just go in and get the phone app and just walk through the aisle and look at them. We were telling our Trader Joe guy today, I was like, yeah, like you should put up, the link to the phone app, and so people will be interested, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, I gotta take this home so I can show mom, here. Anyway,
But I don't have a Trader Joe. Now I'm sad.
I'm just random. Oh, you can buy it anywhere. I'm just randomly plugging things that we have. No
connection to whatsoever.
No
Snoop Dogg
connection
might be
whatsoever.
watching. He might be like, "Hey, I gotta shizzle my nizzle these bizzles."
Okay, randomly, Tupperware water bottles stand up to everything, including being thrown out the door at random kids. No,
Good
just
to know.
playing. I didn't throw it at my kid, but they do stand up well.
Oh yeah.
Good for that.
Who's number 4 we on?
Yours.
Yeah.
Not mine. I did my number 4 already.
But George.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I just did my number 4, the cube.
Oh, the cube. Then we're on number 5.
Oh, okay. 5.
Oh, well, since you have 2 honorable mentions, you should do your honorable mentions before you do number 5.
Oh, okay. My
Big
2
biz.
honorable mentions. One is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
I did see that movie.
I like them.
I
And
loved it
there's
quite a
nothing
bit, but I
that
hear
has come
nothing
out.
but hate.
There's nothing that comes out from Star Wars that I'm not like, ooh, show me more.
I mean, 8 and 9, personally, I'm a big Star Wars guy, but 8 and 9 were just okay. They weren't like, oh my god, amazing to me, but I liked them.
Yeah, I had
But
fun.
7,
I mean, I can understand people being upset about Luke and stuff, but like,
I got to see Han and Chewie together again, and really, that's all I gave a fuck about. And that 7 did that for me, and I will forever love it because of that.
very nice.
That's the only one of the new ones I've seen. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that I'm going to go out of my way to watch it again, but I didn't hate it.
Right. My other honorable mention, and I get shit about this a lot. Again, I'm a found footage guy. I love found footage movies. I get made fun of for that alone, and I don't give a shit. But the found footage movie I love the absolute most, and it's one of my top 5 favorite movies ever made, is the Blair Witch Project.
Dude, the first one, the original, I watched that with the commentary on, tripping my balls off. Insane. It was great.
My dad would get me any books he found for that whenever he was still alive. He just loved watching that type of thing with us.
Oh, it scared the crap out of me the first time I watched it.
Oh, dude. The first time I ever watched it, I was job shadowing for the radio station. I was only 16, but I job shadowed for networks and radio stations stuff for broadcasting. We got all these premiere, see it before it actually comes out kind of tickets. And we decided that they were going to screen it at this really fucked up old ass theater downtown. It was called the Neon Movies. It still is now, but it's yuppie and different now. It was just one theater only. It's where we did Rocky Horror, like the live productions and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody hung out this place. It's haunted as fuck. It's always got a really weird, creepy vibe anytime you're in the building. But that was the only time any movie ever played in that entire building, then or even now, where no one spoke. No one said a goddamn word. Everybody just stared at that screen. And the chairs are kind of too small. So everybody is huddled together in their chairs, like almost 100 people, all the dead sun just watching this. And when we first went in, they had a tent set up outside to kind of screw with people a little bit. And this is months now. We've all been seeing videos about missing people. We've seen real what everyone thought were real police reports of missing missing college students. This thing was marketed in such a way that even P.T. Barnum could not have pulled off the marketing for this. And
I love the marketing.
All of it was word of mouth. every bit of it was like, hey, I know a guy that lives in this state, and he said he would tell all these people to get this organized. Like, they spent next to nothing, not only on making this, but pretty much almost nothing on the marketing for it. Like, the way they did it, like, it's to the point where everybody went and saw it collectively. That saw it, especially the first couple weekends it was out, before it finally came out that it was, just a movie and it was fake. We all believed it. Like, we were sold. We believed it. We were watching the last moments of these lives. We'd seen it. We knew found footage existed as a genre. It kind of did, but nothing like that. That made found footage what it is today. Like, it was powerful. It was insane. It was also part student. The student film part of it was part student film project / a psychology project that they were able to double up on when they were in school still. I got to meet both Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Merrick, who made it, and asked them a lot of interesting questions because my ex-wife went to the same college that they did, and they kind of knew each other. So I kind of got an introduction like many, many years ago. They were given instructions off camera. Like, you have to get this far on the map today. When you get there, there's going to be a drop. You guys are going to have your supplies out there in the woods. These actors didn't know a lot about what was going on. They were filming a documentary. They knew some creepy stuff was going to happen. They were not told a lot of what was going on, a lot of what was going to be happening while this movie was being made. Again, part psychology experiment. When they would get there to their point, they'd see their drop of supplies. Ever so often, they were given less cigarettes. They were given less, to the point where they were given no cigarettes or alcohol eventually whatsoever. They were given these little red tackle boxes that had note cards in them. They'd open it, and it would instruct them that they had to do something. Whatever the card said, they had to do it. And Mikey's his famous one was you have to lose the map. So he ditches the map in the river. That was all planted, but no one else was allowed to know that he was doing it or why. And he couldn't tell them why. It was just something that was agreed upon in the initial conversations. What makes this all more fucked up is that a lot of them had to undergo some level of psychiatric care after this movie was made. The actors did.
Wow.
There was some things they added, but all the stick figures in the woods were there. They just added some. The art department thought it was cool, not knowing what it was, and just added more. All the rock mounds, was already there. I've actually been camping in these woods. I'll tell you about that some other time. But and just everything, the way they did this whole thing, and it's based on a very real legend too. That's the other weird thing about it is this is a known legend in that area and has been for many decades. So they used all this believable stuff, all this real life stuff, combined it with this marketing, showed you this movie that kind of made you want to vomit sometimes because it shook around a lot. And then when it was all over, they were still filming for almost another solid month with Heather by herself out in the goddamn woods, losing her mind and just documenting it to the point where she was running around naked in the woods, screaming and begging for the witch to come and murder her. Of course, none of that made the final cut of the movie. So like this everything around this movie like just makes it one of those movies. Like, and any of this stuff, if any of this was stuff you guys didn't know at all, go back and watch it again with all this in mind because it changes your entire viewing experience. Like, completely.
Oh yeah, in the commentary they tell you a lot of it. They even tell you how to. They were like, this movie was made supposed to be set in 1980 or early 90, late 80s, and they're like, hey, there goes a 94 Corsica driving by. Just oh, these motherfuckers.
And then the studio kind of fucked them pretty hard, and they didn't want to make. They wanted to make a sequel, obviously, but everything that worked out that they thought would work out really didn't work out. And so the studio ended up getting the rights to make.
I hated
part
the
2.
sequel.
Yeah, it's on its own. It's just a meta movie. It's an actual movie instead of a found footage. It ruins everything. And
they called it something. It's like a lot of the Sony movies. I have a problem with them calling them the superheroes that they call them. I'm like, why don't you just call them a different name and then it would be a better movie?
Agreed.
People would be going in expecting something else.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. But then I will say though they did do that newer one a couple years back, which actually ties directly. It ignores the second one and ties into the first one, which I also like quite a bit. And now they just announced another one.
Really?
So I'm kind of super excited. There's also weird rumors because there was some also involvement between some people that did that, and you know how Paranormal Activity series got started.
Yeah.
So
the
now
first one was amazing on those.
Dude, the first 2 I love. 3 was cool, and then nothing again.
One scared the crap out of me.
Dude, haunted houses like that and The Conjuring are still the only movies that actually get me, that like really like get me invested and like really fuck with me like bad.
Yeah.
And I love them. And I watch them on repeat. But like, there's some weird rumor about maybe some kind of weird link between Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity. This again is all rumor and like weird, mostly fan stuff, mostly. So like I don't put any stock into it, but like I would almost kind of be interested to see how that would work.
I just now thought of when you said that instead of having an OnlyFans account, we could have mostly fans accounts.
We
That
should
would
do
be
that. We should do that. We need to show.
just kind of, I don't know, if you're kind of in,
But yeah,
just
there's my
give us 50 cents.
those are
That's
my
all.
two honorable mentions, man. And I think, like I said, Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens, and Blair Witch Project. But my number 5, and this broke my fucking heart, and I didn't find out till today. This one finally made the list. This one breaks my heart the most, and I did not know people hated this movie. It's Mac and Me.
Oh,
Yes, I fucking love this movie. I love the weird dance sequence in McDonald's with Mac in a teddy bear costume. I love the windmill straws. I love the kid in the wheelchair just shooting down. I don't know how he didn't die.
Oh,
Like,
for real, down that hill in the beginning.
It
It was like E.T. on roids.
was.
If James was here, this was a movie he had played that he screened for one of his birthday parties.
I know
Like
he
he
loves
goes
it,
to the
yeah.
pub and rents like the back room, and they put up this huge movie screen,
Hmm.
and that's how he celebrates his birthday. And that was one of them. And yeah,
It's such a good movie. Like
It
it's
is.
totally 80s. Everything about it
That's-
is again
yeah.
80s. But like it's feel good. It's got some drama. It's got comedy. It's got action. Like it even has a little bit like what the fuck, like almost horrorish, like kind of creepy
Yeah, it's
moments.
kind of like E.T. meets Flight of the Navigator kind of craziness.
I love
with
those
action.
movies.
Navigator.
But you'll never convince me that E.T. wasn't a horror film because I was terrified of E.T. as a child. And
Really?
I know I've at least told Dell about this. So E.T. was really big when I was super young. I mean, I was like young single digits. My parents wanted to see it at drive-in because it had made its way back. It was so popular, it left theaters and then came back again out of nowhere, back to theaters in the 80s. And McDonald's hosted it, like did this big thing where you go to McDonald's and get the posters for it and all this stuff. Well, they took us to the drive-in to see this movie. And we're all speechless at the end of it. They thought that meant we loved it. We did not. Me and my sister and brother were fucking terrified. We thought this was a horror movie, and we're okay with horror movies, but this was too far. And then a couple of weeks go by. All of a sudden, it's the middle of the night. Me and my brother starting this weird sound, and there's these weird colored lights just flashing outside of our window, and this like weird sounds, like alien sounds, and we're like, "What the fuck is that?" Like I'm like, again, young, like cussing like a fucking storm, like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" My brother's like, "Okay, calm down. We live next to Right Pat. This is normal." I'm like, "Dude, no, this is not normal." So we get up, we run into the living room. My sister's running out of her room screaming. My mom's like, "Oh, you guys should go to the front porch. I think they left you a present." And we're like, "We're not going to the front porch. What are you talking about?" And that's when my mom realized that we were terrified. So she very sadly ushers us outside to the front porch. My dad's out there waiting with this big grin on his face, and has this whole monologue prepared about how the aliens came and they didn't want to frighten us, so they left us a present instead. And it was one of those giant, like kid-sized, like leather ET dolls.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
I pissed myself. My brother pissed himself. My sister was inconsolable, screaming for like half an hour. Right? Make it worse. The next day, because we were a big pranking family, me and my brother come home from school. Almost every inch of our walls are covered suddenly in McDonald's ET posters.
Oh.
I don't think we slept for a week.
That's-
No matter where you went in the room, ET was fucking staring at you. And we were allowed to take them down, but we were afraid to. So those stayed up for a whole week.
Nice.
I loved E.T. as a kid.
I love it now, but I was terrified of that shit. I don't know why. Like, I watched the fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre and loved it. But E.T. was apparently my cutoff as a child.
That's okay. A Facts of Life episode fucked me up. So
Which one?
the
Which
Halloween one with Tootie.
Yes, I know
Tootie.
exactly which one you're talking about.
I have one word for you, Tootie. It fucked me up. And when Blair fucking, I'm like, whoa, fuck this.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep for like a week.
Yep. That
Back
was
to
oddly
life.
enough a weird one too.
So this was one of the winning white elephant gifts at a family Christmas.
Oh my
No, fuck
god,
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
fuck you.
that is
And I-
the king of
With its
horror.
blue eye, like it's
Our-
way too blue eyes, just
Oh,
staring into your soul.
Our rule is that you have to display it for a year when you get anything. So this had to be on display for a year by the Winger.
Oops, my cat knocked it off the shelf.
Mom it was fought over. Like people were like, no, I want ET. No, I want ET. And you can only trade back and forth. It can only go to 3 different people.
Yeah.
So if you're the third one, you win. But so it was like I want to throw in another ET moment for you when you were saying as a kid. I apparently I don't remember much of my childhood, but I am constantly told this story by my mother about how when I was like 7, somewhere in there, give or take 2 years, they had a bridge party going on, and it was after our bedtimes. We'd been in bed for a couple hours, and I just walked out to the table and was like, Mom, I just wanted to let you know that ET's in the closet. I mean, it's okay. I just thought that it was something that you'd want to know, and then just went back and went to bed, apparently. But I was convinced that ET was in the closet, but I wasn't worried about it. I didn't want to hang out with him. I just figured if anything was going to go down, that Mom might want to know about it, in case she wanted to hang out with him or something. But the thing, when he's sick and he's got the like the sucking lungs, and I can't remember what that's called, but the skin goes in between the ribs.
COPD.
Basically, yeah. There's a specific term for the actual stuff, but yeah, it's that was terrible. I mean, oh
But
God,
I
yeah.
didn't know that they had removed the guns from that movie.
So
Like, I was shocked that they did that.
I don't even know why. Like,
it makes zero sense.
And it looks so stupid seeing them hear the walkie-talkies when they're pointing at kids, and you're like, dude, the fuck? We didn't need to digitally change that shit. It was fine.
Have you seen it? You've all seen The Wizard of Oz, right?
Of course.
Did you notice that the Scarecrow has a gun in one scene when they're going up against the witch? Yeah, the Scarecrow has a gun. The Cowardly Lion has bug spray because they had a jitterbug dance scene, musical number before that, where they were getting rid of the jitterbugs. And the Tin Woodsman, I think, besides having his hatchet, doesn't he have like a hoe or something as well?
He had a full-on axe, like a full-size at one point axe.
Yeah, and they all have these weapons. And like Mom and I caught it this past year. It was on because it's on every year, and we were just leaving the house, and I was like, did you just see that? Did they put that in? And it was like, no, they originally filmed it that way, and it's just
had it since the beginning.
I had watched it for 20. I've seen it at least 20 times, if not more, because every year when it would come on, it was like a family gathering thing. You got pizza, and everybody got ready, and you'd watch that, and other kids got scared of the trees that threw stuff and the flying monkeys, and I was just like, fuck that.
Oh, we love that
shit. I'm all over the flying monkeys, man. Although the Wheelers in number 2, those were terrifying.
Return to Oz was a beautiful fucking movie, but it's not what we thought we thought it was as children when we went to watch it at all. It was not what we thought it was going to be. But I love that
one. Unless you've read it. But I read all the
Oz books. Are weird.
I've been wanting to read them.
He is one of the best, like we're saying, social commentary and stuff, but back in his day, his level of satirism is insane. There's like, in the Patchwork Girl of Oz, there's, I can't remember what's the name of the wizard who has the powder of life? If you happen to remember. Well, Jane said she had. You know what I'm talking about? It starts off
I know
with
exactly what you're talking about, but names escape me right now.
Yeah, it starts off around this like kid who's hanging out with a wizard who has this powder of life, and he's trying it out on different things because he wants to bring like his wife, who is turned into a statue, back to life or something. So he tests it on like a phonograph. What do you call the old record players even before phonograph? Anyway,
Victrola.
Thank you. So one of those, okay, you're muted, but there's one of those, and then he animates his Patchwork Girl, and they're off going, and the Victrola starts catching up with them, and it's like playing this music, and they're like, what is this? This is horrible music. And he's like, it's popular music, and it's a popular song. And they're like, what is a popular song? And he's like, a popular song is a song that the music is easy for people to remember, and the music is easy for people to dance to, and the lyrics are easy for stupid people to remember. It is going to take over the world someday. And that's what popular music is. And like that was him saying this back in like 1902 or something. But all of his works are public domain, by the way, now, so you can get them all in Gutenberg, and they are all so good. It's like The Wizard of Oz, the movie. It covers what, like a third, maybe,
Yeah.
of the different things in the book, and they're beautiful.
Kind of
so
like Never Ending
yes.
Story, almost.
The only
Have
one
you
that
ever
keeps
read-
coming to I haven't read that yet.
Oh, it's
The only
good.
one that keeps coming to mind is the one with the porcelain doll people. Because
Yes.
Sophie was obsessed with that one. So we kept having to redo that one a lot when she was little because it had dollies.
Yeah, and that's so
Wow,
sad.
porcelain doll people. I just came back to the.
There's no, in the actual book, The Wizard of Oz, there's the tiny they come to a wall.
Porcelain people.
Yeah, and they go over it. They throw the scarecrow over it so that they don't die trying to climb up this wall and then landing on the ground. But there's a whole kingdom of small porcelain dolls that are all alive.
She
And there's
chases
one-
this poor, terrified girl. It's like, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want you to play with me. You will break me. And then I'll just be laying there all broken in pieces alive.
Yeah, and there's this one guy who's they look down on him because he's like a clown or something, and he's always trying to do tricks, and he's been broken over and over. And when they glue him back together, he's all scarred and stuff. And it's really sad and kind of scary if you look at it as like, if this was a human being that had been stitched back together that many times because they broke, you go kind of like, wow, yeah, that's
basically.
But
I can tell you
My
that
daughter doesn't understand it, but that was like his whole entire concept, I think.
I can tell you that Wizard of Oz did get included into Supernatural as canon.
oh really?
Mhm.
I've only watched the first 19 episodes and I gave up.
It's a much, much, much later season. Felicia Day actually is involved in that particular storyline where another dimension opens, and out comes Dorothy and the witch, and like there's a whole thing. And Felicia Day leaves like the show for a while because she goes back to Oz with Dorothy. Like it's a whole thing that comes back into play again later in the show. But like it was a really cool thing they did.
You can not only on Gutenberg, there's another site, and I'll try to remember it and put it in links on YouTube later, but where you can go through it. It's a site where you go and you see the book and you flip page by page.
Yeah.
So you can see like the original illustrations. It's like they take pictures of it instead of just scanning
Like,
it. But
yeah.
Right.
I was working on putting together all of the books. I was like copy pasting. Well, here's the thing. I was copy pasting and had my own copies of the books. I was copy pasting from Gutenberg into a Word document and then taking the original illustrations from that site and putting them in so that I could give the kidlets, my sister's kids, all copies of the original Wizard of Oz that they could, I was going to get them bound or whatever. But they outgrew it and weren't really into it. So I kind of gave up on the project, but they're really good.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah, all of his stuff. But Return to Oz, yeah, that was one of the most terrifying movies I saw, and it was supposed to be a kids movie. And you're just like, holy shit.
It's not a kids movie.
It differed from the script a bit, but not very much. Like most of that stuff was happening.
There was shock therapy on a child in the beginning of that movie.
Yeah, and you couldn't have picked a better character than Fairuza Balk.
Oh yeah, as an actor. Oh yeah.
Oh,
She
is just amazing. All right. Anyway, we're on number 5, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It's mine finally.
Okay, and I watched this again last night because I wanted to because I love the movie. It's to see if like I could figure out why people hated it, and I still can't see why. I read why, but I still can't see why. But it was my 5th movie is The Cell.
Oh,
with
J-Lo?
D'Onofrio and J-Lo. Yeah,
I like that movie.
I thought it was one of the most
D'Onofrio.
I thought it was one of the most gorgeous, like cinematography,
Yeah.
like the
I
outfits.
remember
all
that
of
was like the
stuff.
big thing about it too. When I definitely remember renting that from like movie gallery or Blockbuster or something like that. But I remember like the cover of it was like
That
that
red.
big, yeah, exactly. It was her or him or hers. I forget which of them was wearing that outfit, but
It was her.
yeah, it
She
was
was in red.
awesome.
He did golds, purples, and deep browns and blacks.
And then the end of the movie too had that real crazy twist too, where you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, the technology thing. I mean, once again, you have to like just give up your okay. Science doesn't exactly work like that. We get it.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
a
we all
movie.
know.
Suspension of belief, but
It could be working like that soon enough.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
they did another movie years later that also had the psychological aspect that was built where you had to suspend disbelief, but the colors, like everything was amazing. It was about a group of girls in a mental institution called Sucker Punch. But
Sucker Punch was dope.
but it was just, I remember being like every bit as vibrant, like the cell. Like there was like some correlations that I made to the vibrancy, like the pacing, like a similar vein, just obviously different plot. But it's
Mhm.
I will admit that I adored Sucker Punch, but I did not
That
understand
also
all of
gets a
it.
lot of hate too.
It
So
does.
I need to have somebody, like, not now, but have somebody explain to me so that I can watch it again and be like, okay. Because there were just a couple of, I don't remember it well enough to discuss it right now, but I know that there were things that made me go, okay, what now? Which is real, which is not, which is a combination of the two. And
That's actually kind of the
yeah.
whole point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's actually that's a big part of the. There is more like structure to it than it seems, but like largely that's kind of the point about what's real and what isn't.
I have a T-shirt
One of
with the
my
big
favorite
meat
lines
bunny on
comes
it.
from that movie. Like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yep.
I'm just like,
Yep.
that is fucking so good stuff.
That was good writing,
Nice.
for damn sure.
Now, also still gets a lot of stink.
It does. Yes, it does.
Jenny.
What's next?
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Okay, I haven't seen that
I
one.
love that movie and the book. I love all the characters.
Is that a voodoo one? Am I thinking?
Yeah, there is voodoo in it.
Okay.
He goes and sees the local voodoo witch to help him get through the trial. And she and her husband, her dead husband, try to work him through the thing. But yeah, the book gives more about all the characters he meets in the town other than the murder trial. But it's I think my favorite part is it gives you so much about all the characters,
Yep.
all the things he sees and does in Savannah and around Savannah.
That's one that I wanted to see, so I'm definitely going to have to make sure I put that on my list of. You know how you hear that and you're like, yeah, I want to see that, and then you just completely forget.
Yep. And
We have this
it's
recorded
like
now. I'll remember.
the book and the
Yeah.
movies based on real life events from the 1980s. It's a class. They're both, the book and the movie are both classified as nonfiction.
Oh wow!
Interesting.
They're really well done, man. A really well done book and movie. That was a situation where I loved the book and the movie, like for different reasons entirely. But John
Yeah.
Cusack was in that. Kevin Spacey, and if
Oh,
I
really?
recall correctly, I think Clint Eastwood actually produced that movie. I'll double
Yes.
check if I'm right. Okay, cool. I am right about that. Cool.
I know it's a terribly unpopular opinion because of who he is, but Kevin Spacey is one hell of an actor.
He is, and I was really brokenhearted to hear that he too
And
was an absolute fucking moron, like we discussed earlier with the
Yeah.
I fucking hate
Yeah,
that.
Fucking killed me
Jeffrey Jones.
because
Yeah,
there were so many movies that I loved of his, and fucking god damn it, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
you
and
missed it earlier. We were talking about Jeffrey Jones. He
Jeffrey
was the main
Jones.
villain in Howard the Duck, redheaded guy.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about him, and that's what kind of happened to him too. A lot of terrible, stupid shit.
Howard
I
the
hate
Duck
that.
seems to be a trend.
hate Howard the Duck too. Creeps me out, fucking duck, and like no.
Quack quack, motherfucker.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, what you doing? Oh, it's Howard the Duck.
And I
There's
love
a
that movie. I'm sorry.
fucking
Like anybody
duck
who says
and
that's a bad movie doesn't
and
like
then
comic
what's
books.
his name's mom?
Dell hates it. Like she went on and on about having
the mom from Back to the Future when she's a kid and a duck, and I'm like, no, this is not how Michael J. Fox is born.
Duckman was born.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
I don't
Michael J.
hate
Fox almost
comics,
got smart.
Jeremy. I swear to you,
I
I
know.
don't hate comics, but I hate Howard the Duck.
Next thing
It's
you
like
know,
when you say that opinion, you're like, oh shit, somebody in here doesn't like it. Fuck, I fucked up.
I mean, I love Darkwing Duck. You know this. I love other ducks.
terror that
I just
flaps in the
don't.
night.
Outside of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I don't think that and them being cartoons, I don't think that that
Cool world,
animals
man.
and humans should really be hooking up. And I think seeing it not animated, seeing it like
You
I mean, they didn't
picture
hook
them,
up,
they're
but
not
they
actually animals. They're human or
anthropomorphic.
Yes, that.
Yeah, but it's still a fucking duck. He's still a duck. He's a talking duck. He's not a little quack quack duck. He's a different kind of duck, but he's still a duck. And that bothers me.
He's a duck.
I don't know. I don't think it qualifies. My old sociology professor was Dr. Jim Fargar, and he had Fargar's laws of science fiction. And the number one law, Fargar's law of science fiction, really had Fargar's laws of everything, but Fargar's law of science fiction was that anything that is happening now. And his example for that was Enemy Mine.
Good movie.
Has everybody seen Enemy Mine? It's gorgeous. It's a movie, but it's a movie where a man gets stranded on two men get stranded on a planet. They're from different species, and
yes, I do know that one.
Yeah, and the alien is like pregnant, even though he's
80s.
male, and he has to go through like his whole life. And so he learns that the whole movie was about racism. It was just being portrayed through that. But I don't see Fargar's law of science fiction working that well with Howard the Duck for some reason. Just for me, it didn't pull through.
Yeah, Howard Duck was supposed to be just pure shock value.
Okay, I thought it was supposed to be a comedy, and I was like not amused.
Kind of was. I mean, it was
like there were points.
Just 80s. It wasn't even really a superhero movie, to be honest. Not really. It was just built as an 80s comedy action. Is really how it was built.
Yeah.
And
kind of like Earth Girls Are Easy.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
It could also be that I hate, what was his name? Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's always been like super creepy looking to me.
Oh, totally.
Oh, definitely.
That's why no one was really surprised when all that stuff came out about him, because you just look at him like, okay, this dude's up to some shit. Like, you can just tell.
Well, you got to be like, how did he? I don't know. I'm not going to go there. That's not part of the discussion. But like, he's just easy all the way around. I love John Ritter. Like,
did you see Stay Tuned?
John Ritter. I don't believe so.
He gets sucked into a satellite dish and is going through all these different TV shows. As John Ritter.
Yes, I did.
Survive it. And Jeffrey Jones plays the devil. Basically, it's this whole thing.
Is that where he's out on a big antenna? And
that's the picture on the front cover. Yes, it's him
okay.
at the end of a satellite dish.
I thought that was part of Howard the Duck for some reason.
Nope.
Jeffrey Jones was on a big antenna. Okay, well, I combined those two.
Yep.
Then, so
a lot of people did.
That's my memory. But yeah,
some people confuse it with a horror film called Terror Vision for some reason. Also a good one.
I remember that.
Yeah,
so
not a lot of people have seen that one.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay.
Number 5.
See, I feel bad because I'm going to bring us back to Star Wars. It's where my name comes from, the Phantom Menace.
Okay.
I mean, the most hated character in all of Star Wars, Jar Jar Binks, Phantom Menace. I watched that movie until I broke the VHS, because I still had VHS when that first came out.
I did too.
Oh yeah, I rewatched it. When it came out in 3D, I went to the theater and saw it then, and my God, that was the best 3D I've ever seen.
I killed all the VHSs of Star Wars when I was a kid.
I'm just like, when I found out that everybody hated Jar Jar Binks and they hated the Phantom Menace because of Jar Jar Binks, it crushed me. I was just like, no.
See, I didn't
Bring
like.
out your Jar Jar.
I actually
I have
didn't
Jar
like.
Jar everywhere.
Yeah.
I actually
I have
didn't
a
like.
million Jar Jars.
I didn't like Jar Jar a lot, but I didn't hate him. Like, he was just a little bit of annoying. But I got his character was important. I actually kind of started liking him more later. In later movies, I liked Jar Jar more. He became the senator and a lot of the stuff that was happening.
I've
Like,
got stuffed animals.
but Phantom Menace, I still liked. I saw that movies in theaters, pre-bought tickets, like I think
Well,
5 months ahead of time, and I know
that's the
in
cool
character.
thing. That's the cool thing about the new movies. Because they're so fresh in everybody's mind, they now hate those in the Phantom Menace and Clone Wars and
Clone Wars. I'm sorry,
Revenge
you
of the
want
Sith
to
are
bend over the
starting.
balcony. Like, two is just very wrong in a lot of ways. I will never be
Love it
okay
all.
with episode 2. I don't know why, but like I'll watch it, especially if, on Star Wars Day and when I'm watching them. I
Oh,
marathon them a lot, and I'll
when you
watch
took
it. But
Dooku out, I was like, that's
see, all the
fantastic.
fight scenes, a lot of this stuff I like, but like the whole Anakin story. Well, okay, I'm going to lay this on the table. Luke Skywalker is a whiny little bitch, and he had to get it
So
from
is
somewhere.
Anakin.
Exactly.
And that,
If you cut
see,
out
with that,
Luke and Anakin, I fucking love everything about Star Wars. If no Luke or Anakin, you'll never find a bigger Star Wars fan at this point in
well,
time.
check this
Because
out.
of the two of them, I just can't do it sometimes.
For the biggest, being a huge Star Wars fan, the Star Wars episode that I dislike the most is the one everybody else thinks the greatest. Empire Strikes Back. As a kid, I found that movie so boring.
Really,
There was too much
I can see why.
story building in there as a kid. Don't get me wrong, as an adult, I get it. I love it. It's part of the whole franchise, and I love Empire. But if any of them could be knocked out, it would be that one for me.
I could see that because honestly, between New Hope and Return of the Jedi, you could like kind of part that out and just include it in the other two movies,
Yeah,
and not even miss it. And I agree with you. I never really thought about it that way, but it is very dry.
it
As
is.
far as like even the actions, like the ending, of course, is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I,
And you find out
yeah,
Father, and you get to
Yeah.
meet Yoda. But like as you said,
Or
you could have
Han.
added those to 1 and 3,
Yeah.
and like
And plus, they just blew up the Death Star again anyway. So after that, and
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. So it's like, oh, we're just gonna do that again. Okay, we just did that. But
Didn't
cool.
we?
Let's do it again.
Okay,
they
so without
did it
reading
again. Somehow
without
it
reading-
came back.
without reading the whole thing, I'm hoping that you guys know about this. Well, I know Jeremy knows about this. I'm hoping you two do, and that people watching know about this. If not, look up Reddit Jar Jar Sith Lord, and you'll find one of the best fan theories ever
I know this
about Jar Jar Binks. And
I
it-
actually feel
I
like I
believe
created this fan theory, but like it came out on Robot Chicken after I talked about it. Like it's like one of those things where you're like, he is the cause of everything, and he really is. He had
He
such a
is.
big hand in so many things
He did.
throughout 1 and 3.
And was he really that naive?
For real, like that could have all been an act. I mean, he just so happens to be there when Jedi show up. Like, what the hell?
he can backflip off things and land on the other side while other
Mhm.
people are still targeting him and moving.
Oh yeah,
and-
when he jumps into the
Oopsie
water that
doopsie.
first time, he's like,
Yeah.
No, they definitely the person who made this post on Reddit, and it's famous. And if you read through the whole thing, they have links to like, okay, check out the drunken master style that Bruce Lee did in this movie, and these are the exact moves, and this is Jar Jar doing exactly what he did. For
Kind
his
of thought about
stuff.
that before either, but yeah, there's a lot of Drunken Master similarities there. Yeah.
And the way that he communicates, the way that he makes movements that are like things that like mind wipes and stuff like that get him through things. The fact that he is able to get himself put in a position on the Senate, and he is the one who brings, like all of those
On the
things make
Senate.
sense. And then it's like, but everybody hated Jar Jar, so they just decided to get rid of the character and not go forward with this thing.
oh,
And
I
it's
hate
like-
it. Like in the books,
love
even he was written in one of the books. I forget which one, where they met him and he was like some fool at a fountain, like dancing for money or some shit, credits or whatever. I'm
That's
just
kind of
like,
fucked up.
Come
Yeah,
on,
that's
man. Like,
Like-
go from being a senator to that? Like,
Yeah.
come on. Come on.
If they had gone with that and rolled with that, if that had been actually what they were going with, it would have been amazing.
Oh, it would have been
Yeah.
so cool.
That
Everybody
reveal
would
alone.
kick themselves in the ass when they would sing it and been like, oh my God, Jar Jar is such a great, fantastic idea.
But honestly, like he was also, in everybody's defense, he's an easy character to mock. The
Oh, yeah.
voice, everything. He's a very mockable character, and
Oh, great comedy relief throughout all of Phantom Menace. Like
But
when
I-
they,
yeah.
Ooh.
oh yeah. But I do think that there is a lot more to him, even if the Sith thing is just a fan thing. But there's a lot more to that character, and there's too many things that happen involving him that probably wouldn't have happened at all, or at least not when they did or how they did, if not for his involvement. So he was a plot point.
Yeah.
He himself was a vehicle in which the story was told by.
Mind you, I'm very happy that they gave the actor a new role in The Mandalorian and all
Yeah.
that was fantastic. When I saw that, I almost cried. I was like, ooh, you almost got me, Star Wars.
Oh. I haven't watched Mandalorian yet. I'm so behind in
I'm one season behind.
this is horrible
It's
to say,
good
but
stuff.
I'm dying to see it, man.
now that there is the problem with watching things versus reading things is that I have to do it at the same speed that they were filmed,
Yeah.
and I can't I can sit down and read 70 comics in an evening. I can't watch 10
It's getting
episodes of a
tougher for
show
me.
in that long,
I agree, because like they're saying the new Ahsoka show is really just season 5 of Rebels. I never watched Rebels.
Same.
So I'm just like, you're telling me I have to catch up 4 seasons of a cartoon that I never watched? I'm like, I don't know if I can do that, Dave.
Yeah, you got to get somebody's summary on it, but
Love that reference, by the way.
Just like, I don't know.
Hey,
And that's them.
hi.
They say hi.
Welcome to the abyss, population, all of us.
He said,
What is his favorite movie that everybody hates?
what is your favorite movie that everybody hates? Give him a minute. He's got a few years to get through.
Favorite movie that everybody hates.
See, this is
Sorry,
when
hold on.
James suggested this, I figured out that I have impeccable taste in movies because I was like,
Or
I love
so we
this,
tell
and
ourselves.
so does everyone else. I love this, and so does everyone else.
I
My top 30
misunderstood.
movies all have at least a 75% rating on it.
I misunderstood and thought this was across all mediums. So like I had a thing, I had a show, a comic, a book, a song.
Oh, nice.
I had like things in life.
I do
that
have
I
some
like,
runner-ups.
Like I even had like
Oh.
getting my blood drawn on this list because I don't know, it's weird. I like it. I don't like
I
needles. and
hate needles.
Listen, I have an
Oh.
issue with injections, but I can get tattoos.
No, they do.
So
They have
lonely.
many opinions.
Tattoos, I'm
It's
no
a fear.
problem.
Which is your
It's the
favorite?
fear of something being injected into me, even if I know what it is, that into my blood system. That's what scares me. The needles are fine.
Drawn
There's
or
tattoos.
even shot in,
Ooh.
I'm like, no way.
Drawing, they're
Except
taking-
for
I figured out how to
of me.
do it.
I can do the.
And then I have
But
In the pokey
I
stabby
can't
stabby.
do that one very
Yeah.
well.
the
Yeah,
one
I have
little
like all
stab.
kinds of weird
Upside
shit.
down.
Like my girlfriend's an IV nurse, and like she goes to people's homes and like shoots them in, like all that stuff. I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
no,
A
thank you.
phlebotomist?
I remember that.
A phlebotomist?
No. She doesn't do the testing of it. She just goes there, shoots them up with whatever drugs are supposed to be in the
Oh,
IV,
okay.
like runs them for like 6 hours at home. They're all rich people. They get to have their drugs at home.
I had this.
I also had Deep Blue Something Breakfast at Tiffany's, that song on that list because I love that song. Like, and I don't know why, I just love that song.
really like
that was on my list. I had like all kinds of different shit on there.
Did he come up with one?
He said Transformers last night. He loved all the different forms they had.
Okay.
The Transformer, the Michael Bay ones do get a lot of hate.
They
I
do.
have to
They do.
say.
A lot
I
of that is Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, though, to be fair.
like Shia. He's a fucking asshole. I like him in some movies. I know I have to like get rid of him because he's kind of a douche.
Well, the first weird thing he did was he rented this hotel room and he wanted to do this whole experiment, right? And he was going to film it and do all this shit. So he rents this room and tells people, I'm not going to say a word. Come into this room, do anything you want, and leave. Some people just wanted to meet him and be in his presence, but like he actually let people molest him and do all kinds of crazy shit to him, and then ended up having a nervous breakdown after this experiment. So he went from being crazy and just an angry person to having an all-out nervous fucking breakdown because the situation that he put himself into and allowed to happen told everything was fine. Do whatever you want to me in this room. And he called it a performance art piece. That's what he called it. He called it performance art. That's was his whole concept. And it got really out of hand. He got hurt. I mean, all kinds of bad things ended up happening to him, but he let it happen. All of it. From beginning to end, let it all happen. You know, like waivers were signed, everything. Like everything was fine. And then after that, he lost his mind more. And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
He did
and
this
then,
really great movie with the special
Honey?
needs kid. Yeah.
okay, so that movie is about his life. And
Oh no, not the Honey Boy.
okay,
or
that
whatever.
one was weird. Honey Boy was
The
weird.
special needs kid who wanted to be a wrestler.
I don't know if I
It's
saw that.
friggin' amazing. Something Falcon, Chocolate Falcon, I think it's called, or
I
something
don't,
like
I don't think I'd ever heard of that one. Peanut Butter Falcon. I just
Peanut
looked it
Butter
up.
Falcon. Thank you.
I've not seen that. I might have to actually go back and watch
It's
that one then.
really, really good. It was the one right before he did Honey Boy or whatever that one was
Yeah,
called.
that one was
That
about
one
his
was
life,
twisted
and like
stuff.
it was about his dad, and his dad sued him over
Yeah.
it. And we all thought he was going to start calming down a little bit because there were some rumors that he was going to end up coming back for Indy 5. Like there was all kinds of rumors about him returning to Transformers, and then he made that, and then the lawsuits, and then he just got crazier all over again. But I don't
Yeah.
know if I can forgive him for fucking up Indiana Jones because he was going to be the new Indy. He was taking over the franchise. He was going to be the lead until he fucking went nuts.
I'm so upset about the new movie.
I'm
I want
excited to see
Indiana
it though.
Jones to become a like his dad was, jovial kind of guy. Like, you know, he'd been through it, seen it all, and like and he's just that angry fucking get off my lawn guy, and it's just like, good
Well, I
lord.
mean, his dad had moments like that though too. If you
Oh
go back,
yeah,
they officially came out and like guaranteed now that the Indiana Jones Chronicles, or the Young Chronicles of Indiana Jones, or whatever, is canon now for sure. Like,
Hmm.
definitely beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's definitely canon. Disney just uploaded all of it back to the network, the Disney Plus. So I've been going back there and watching them, and there's actually I hadn't seen him in years. There's actually a mix of episodes where he's like really proud of his son, and episodes where he's like, "What the fuck did you do that?" Kind of a dad. Like, it's a lot of back and forth with him. So like,
it's been a while since I watched those.
right. Keeping all that in mind as I'm watching them because I'm preparing for the new Indy movie, obviously.
Mhm.
Like just preparing for it all and like watching all that, I'm like, I'm starting to get why he became the person he was. Like all of it, the good, the bad, the angry, the fear of snakes. I mean, all of it. Every bit of that is all laid out in that show. And the shows are just movies because each episode's like an hour and a half. They're just many movies at different points in his life. So I mean, like if you really watch those, everything suddenly makes sense about him, and in really weird ways. It's fucking nuts, man.
The one with I can't remember it. It was the one with Short Round in it and the blonde when she has to reach through and all the bugs were crawling over her, and he's like, just push the goddamn thing, and she's just like, ugh, and you see the centipedes. Okay, in Temple, that scene I still can't watch. That just all of the centipedes and things that are crawling all over her as she's trying to reach into this gross, slimy, fucking algae covered rock. I couldn't. Indy would have died if it had been me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
This hair, I had grasshoppers once when I was a kid. We were my grandparents. My aunt had Down syndrome, and so she couldn't drive. But my grandfather was a Shriner, so they got one of those cars, and it was the little yellow car, is what we always called it. And they lived on a farm, so they would drive up. She would drive it up and down the lane, and like turn around at the mailbox and go back. And like they had a really long lane, but there was like the house area and the lawn and all the outbuildings, and there were hogs, and then there were the trees that surround every old farm property to keep the snow and winds out from them. And then there was a decent section of lane that had cornfields on either side of it, and grasshoppers during the summer in Nebraska at least just fill the cornfields. Like you'll be driving down a dirt road or a country road, gravel or dirt, and they're just pelting off of your windshield. They're just splattering. You need, like, occasionally you actually need to have the windshield wipers on to just see where you're going with the amount of grasshoppers that
Damn.
are just hitting your car. It's crazy. And I had my hair down. We were kids, but I had really long hair then too. And grandma drove us up once and back down. And then we had to go inside, and she was pulling grasshoppers out of my hair, and they bite. And they're horrible, horrible things. And I've been terrified of grasshoppers and bugs like that. My other grandma is the one who would stick June bugs in our ears.
Ew.
Like, she had a cabin by the river, and she'd pick them off the screen door and then come in. And you'd feel this little thick tickle. All of a sudden, you had to like freeze because there's a June bug's little antenna and front legs feeling in your ear. And if you squeeze them, they scream. And that's what other grandma would do. So that was Grandma Barger, but Grandma Sanders was the one who had the.
I'm really appreciating
all
the
these
abuse my
special
parents put me through now. I'm just
I
like,
just-
good Lord, at least they didn't do that.
I actually moved here to Lincoln because of the Grasshopper of Destiny, is what I call it. I was driving into town to drop off a cake. I used to decorate cakes. It was just for fun, but like I was really good at it. And my sister had a birthday party, and they wanted the like Bud Light penguin on the cake for somebody. This is how far back it was. It was like, yeah, like over like 25 years ago this was happening. And I was driving into town, had my car window open. This is when I could still drive. I'm epileptic. I can't drive. This is one of the last times I was able to still drive. I was driving to town, had my window down, going 65 miles an hour down the interstate, and a grasshopper jumped in through my window that was open this far so I could smoke and landed on my steering wheel. And I was like, fuck. And so we get, I'm driving, and I get on the open, and it's just sitting there. And I finally get down to where I was meeting her at this coffee place in town. And then it jumped onto my gear shift. And I was going to back into a parking spot and try to get out. I needed to put in a park, and I couldn't because it was on my gear shift. And this like guy was really pissed at me because I wouldn't take a parking spot. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm just like, Christopher. And he's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So he's like, open up the car door. And he goes over to the other side, unlock the door. And he like takes off his jacket, and he's like whacking at it. And it's jumping all over the car then and stuff. And then
just grab it out of the car. That's what he should have done.
Well, he should have, but he didn't. He was mad, so he was making a scene. And it was like jumping in the back by the cake. So in any case, while all this was taking place, the parking spot was taken. So then I ended up parking like 2 blocks further down. And when I did so, as I was walking back to where I was supposed to meet my sister with the cake, I ran into an old friend of mine who was living here in Lincoln. And we started hanging out, and then we started dating for just a little bit. Didn't really turn anything. It was one of those like, hey, let's try dating. Hey, let's just go back to being friends because that's easier. And we didn't fuck it up too bad yet. So awesome. And yeah. And so that's what started me coming into Lincoln to visit people. And what ended up making me move here was the grasshopper. And that's my story. I have no idea how I got there because I'm not Brandon. But Indiana Jones. That was it.
Yes.
Okay, I got there. I'm still not Brandon.
I'm envisioning like this grasshopper just sitting on the steering wheel and staring at you and just going,
Dude,
this grasshopper knows what evil lies in the hearts of Dell.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, fuck you too, man. I see your finger.
Oh no,
I know,
that was the index.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't know why I keep going blurry tonight. I'm like,
I just thought I was more stoned than usual, to be honest with you. I thought it was normal.
Now he's gone blurry.
I don't question vision impairments. I'm of that age, and many drugs later, that when there's vision impairments, I'm like, oh man, yeah, that's probably from that 10 strip I did in 1998.
I'm the old one on this show, so I get to
I'm probably the youngest.
You might be. I'm 40.
If you're at 47.
Oh, you're
36.
Our youngest on the network is Matt. Matt is 19.
Ooh.
And y'all will
he's
be
our
meeting
baby.
Matt very soon.
But like, if me and Jeremy, like, if Jeremy like sat on my shoulders and stood up, we would then be as tall as Matt. Matt's
Oh,
not
wow.
really that tall, but he's like super stupid fucking tall. He's our gentle giant. You guys will love Matt. He's awesome. Right now, he's been on the network kind of. A lot more in the future. Like him and I are doing Mats and Monsters, but he also voices a main character in the audio drama that we're bringing back here very soon, by the way. And I've
Yes.
asked some of our other lovely network people to play some characters. I don't know if you even saw this in the chat the other day, Jeremy. I actually had tagged you because I wanted to see if you wanted to play the main protagonist in the audio drama who has not yet appeared.
Oh, I probably didn't. Like, so much goes on in that chat. I
Yeah.
scrolled through them like.
I tried
That's why
to
I'm
tag.
trying to put
I
it on
thought he
Discord.
commented something about being the crusty old owner or something.
The what?
I thought he commented about wanting to be the crusty old owner,
I think
not
that's
knowing
James.
that James. Well, somebody did, or maybe it was James. I don't
It was
know.
James.
Everything's
James is going to play the main security guard, and I wanted you to play
Oh.
Mr. Moores. I'll explain it more to you later. But Matt plays fucking Brian.
Oh wow.
So not many people have seen Matt yet, but yeah, you guys will love him. He's cool as shit.
All right. Well, we've been going on for 2.5 hours now on
Oh,
our
shit, yeah.
initial episode here. So I think I don't believe James is going to be getting back in touch with us tonight to let us know how he's doing in the hospital. But I think we should round everybody up. I'm not going to do an screen by screen. You can, yeah.
It's not that kind of show.
Yeah.
Find me on Owlite or Carrie Sanders or Delphine Galdrakaka, if you can even try to figure out how to spell that. On Facebook, look us up here. Find us. Actually, the best place, we just got our YouTube going, so if you could like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, we would love you. If you go to the Owlite on Facebook, go ahead and just like us, follow us. We would love you. We have a lot of stuff coming. We are putting together so much stuff for you. We've re-gotten everything up that we did before, except a couple of shows, and have clips of all of the stories that were told in individual shows. So if you don't want to watch a whole show of storytelling, you can watch each story. Some of them are a couple minutes long. Some of them are 40 minutes long. Pick whatever you want. Watch an episode here or there. Have some fun with it. And
That's very
that
smart
would be
to
great.
do, by the way, to break them up into small, little, intricate videos.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
smart to do.
And they have their own little section. So
if you go back and actually look at like the amount of videos on there already is pretty insane.
monumental.
Yeah, some of them range from like actual videos of people, not just ads, range from like 90 seconds to like 4 hours and 20 minutes. So like there's all kinds of different shit. And yeah, I just think that whole number went up in a week.
yeah.
Every one of those videos went up officially.
And check out our, like I was showing off earlier, all of our TeePublic stuff. We have got stuff for almost every show going up now. Have some new shows coming for the future. We haven't decided exactly what it's going to be, so we don't have the logo for it yet. But we have 13 different designs up already. And you can get that in just about anything except for pet food bowls, because that was actually a different product.
Yeah, I was wrong about that, but I can make them.
But he can make them, and we're going to be having patches and stuff up soon as well.
I'm also going to be making some Allied trucker hats probably in the near future. I got a pair of shoes.
I want one.
Because it's a blank pair of shoes. Nice. Because they were just like almost nothing, and I was like, I have something that can print and a heat press that does shoes, so I'm gonna make some Allied shoes here soon too, just to kind of see how they turn out, and I don't know, something fun to do at home.
Dude, that would rock.
Also, currently, you can catch me on sometimes, but Jeremy is always on the Dorkening. And go ahead and do your spiel because you're really good at it.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, my spiel is short tonight. I'm just going to say, go check out Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction House to buy, sell, trade, and auction all of your wonderful, geeky, dorky, nerdy stuff. Join 20,000 other people. It's great.
It is a great site. We met John Kreisa through that site.
Yeah.
And he has been one of the best contacts I've ever met in the comic book world. And it was just because of Jeremy that we found this amazing human being. It's all your fault,
Yep,
and
when
we're
you
so
become
happy
poor
for
and
it.
everything, it's my fault.
God damn it, Jeremy! I'll tell you what.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for coming and for watching our first episode. And guys, stick around. But good night, everyone. Take care.
Later.
We love you.